3, 2, 1.
What up, Fifth Downers? This is the Fifth Down Fantasy Football Podcast, giving you that extra down to win your league. How are y'all doing tonight? This is K Mill here, hosting tonight, and I have with me Johnny Slokes. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
What it do, Fifth Downers? Changing it up a little bit. Let K Mill lead off for a change.
Well, as a reminder, we are on iTunes, we are on Spreaker. If there's any I missed, please remind me, Johnny. But yeah, you can catch us pretty much anywhere. Please rate and review us. If you have any questions, hit us up on Twitter. You know the drill, guys. Let us know how we're doing.
Yeah, you know, we're also on Blog Talk Radio and Podcast Addict. We post all of our shows on Twitter at the Fifth Down FF. So that's mostly where you can find us. Most of you guys know us from there. Let's
hop into some news and notes, huh?
Yeah, let's fly into it. Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So I'll start it off. Gronk, Julian Edelman, and Tom Brady all missed practice today for the Patriots. What do you make of that, Johnny?
Gronk is the only one I'm worried about.
Yeah, same here. I totally agree.
They need to give him some rest. Trevor Siemian was seen in a walking boot, and that's kind of bad because not you're going to play him, but, you know, the receivers he has to throw to that are not going to get balls from Paxton Lynch if he has to miss time.
Yeah, definite downgrades to both of those receivers. Ladarius Green, apparently, according to Mike Tomlin, he wants to get him involved in the Steelers' offense a little bit more. I'm still not picking him up. What do you think?
I want to watch somebody else pick him up.
Yeah, okay. We're in agreement on that. Sammy Watkins, he missed today's practice with soreness in his foot that he did have surgery on last season. And it sounds like, and it is the one that's in question. Are you at all worried about this?
Well, yeah, he's just out for 2 months with a sore foot. They should have been a little bit more patient with him. There's no need to rush him back.
Yeah, I don't know why Rex Ryan keeps doing that to his players, man.
Jordan Reed practiced today. He didn't participate in any drills, but he was playing catch with Colt McCoy, so.
That's good news, but if you are a Jordan Reed owner, make a backup plan right now so you're not scrambling to the waiver wire on Friday after it's picked clean.
Yeah, I mean, Vernon Davis, I don't know if he's a viable option because he does play Arizona, but in the coming weeks that wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hilton and Luck both practiced. That's good to have both of them back. Diggs practiced today, so he's on track to play. Jeremy Maclin returned to practice, so that's pretty good. The Chiefs probably miss him.
Yeah, two dynamic playmakers could be nice for Alex Smith. However, I don't see this being a high-volume passing offense, so I would go ahead and avoid the whole situation if you possibly could.
Vereen returned to practice. I don't know what to make of that one, but that's nice to see. Let's see, RG3's cleared for contact, so maybe they'll try to get him in before the season end to see what they got out of him.
You're not starting him.
No, you're not. For those Le'Veon Bell owners, D'Angelo Williams, he is returning. He could return this week. A lot of people might have dropped him, so that's a pretty good handcuff to have. We know what he can do when Le'Veon Bell's not playing. So,
yeah, definitely have him if you're a Le'Veon Bell owner.
The Cowboys, they're going to be giving Zeke the ball just as often as they have been. They're not going to reduce his workload going forward. So, I mean, that doesn't surprise me one bit.
No surprise there. Keep the ball in your playmakers' hands.
Tyrell Williams, he has a undisclosed labrum injury that really affects the catch radius for most receivers. But he did play through a labrum tear in college in 2014. So we'll see how that is. I really don't like that kind of injury, though.
I don't either. I would look at other backup plans if you can get around it.
And Jordan Matthews is expected to play after spraining his ankle against the Green Bay Packers. They do expect him to play this week, so that's good. And I know we've been hearing this often this year, but the Tennessee Titans say that Derrick Henry could see some more short yardage work. We've been hearing about it a lot in the past, and it really hasn't come to light too much. What do you think about that?
You know what? It's at this point, it's like hearsay for me. I'll believe it when I see it.
All right.
You want to jump into some matchups?
Yeah, before we get to that, man, why don't you tell the listeners what you're drinking today?
Well, I got a little bit of Single Barrel Jack. I know, big surprise, guys, but it's my go-to drink, and I got it in a decanter at my house, and I fucking love it. It burns so good.
Yeah, I didn't quite finish off that bottle from the other night with the Southern Comfort, so I'm determined to finish it tonight.
Yeah, I would have to say so. It sounded like you were preheated earlier, and get more heated. I say this to everybody, but I have to have some kind of liquor at my house because I work in an OBGYN clinic. I work with pregnant females all day. I gotta have some liquor in the house.
Well, of course you gotta get some liquor in the house. You're married.
Yeah, that too.
All right, let's get into some matchups. What's the first one we got on today's slate?
All right, so tomorrow evening, first day of December, we have the Cowboys at the Vikings. I think this is a game that the Cowboys could pretty handily win. Kind of seems a little bit of a trap game to me, but, if I'm putting my money on somebody, I'm putting it on the Cowboys.
I got the Cowboys winning this one 27-17. I'm actually making a prediction score here, but I do think that the Cowboys will be able to win this rather easily. Sam Bradford's the quarterback, but really what it comes down to is they're not going to be able, I don't think they're going to be able to stop Ezekiel Elliott. And
yeah. With that being said, he's my number 5 running back this year. It's going to be more of the same from him. I don't see him slowing down. This is a tough Minnesota defense, but we've seen that Ezekiel is pretty much one of those matchup-proof running backs.
I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. That's how you beat Dallas. You have to slow down their run game, because if you slow down their run game, you'll find out their defense really isn't that good. So, I mean, that's what it really boils down to for me. I got Ezekiel Elliott at number 5 as well. A guy that I think could have a down game, but I still have him ranked at number 12, but I think he could have a down game is Dez Bryant. He might get the X treatment against Xavier Rhodes. He's one of the better corners in the league that's not as well known, but I do think that he'll be able to do a decent job against Dez. What you're banking on with Dez is he going to get a red zone touchdown?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I think this is a game where, Dez Bryant with Xavier Rhodes blanketing him could get a little bit of that X treatment you're talking about. It's going to get a little X-rated in there. He's right now I have him in my number 8 receiver for the week. I think this is a game where if he doesn't get a touchdown, this could be a game where he really does fuck your fantasy team over. So I'm putting the partial Blue Falcon stamp on this one. I would just say definitely temper your expectations for Dez this week. You got
Dez as your Blue Falcon?
Partial Blue Falcon. He's not the Blue Falcon.
Okay, I could see why. If we go over to the tight end position, how do you feel about Jason Witten?
I feel like this is a game where he could really get phased out. Minnesota's been a top 10 defense as far as defending the tight end this year. I'm not really liking Witten's odds too much. I feel like this kind of suits Cole Beasley's style more. I think this will be kind of a dink and dunk game. Short to intermediate passes. I think Cole Beasley is going to be the recipient of a lot of those, though. So,
with that being said, would you consider Cole Beasley being like a nice little flex play?
Yeah, I could definitely see him being flex viable this week. I wouldn't recommend starting him, but I'm saying if you're in a pinch, injuries have hit your team hard, you're fighting for that playoff spot, I could definitely see it.
I'll tell you what, at this point, I'd rather have Cole Beasley in my lineup than a guy like Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. Yeah.
I mean, it kind of seems like he's like the poor man's Wes Welker,
Yeah, I know, that's exactly it. Yeah, he's a short little wide receiver,
According to Football Outsiders, Minnesota is ranked 15th against tight ends.
Oh, well then, thank you for that stat correction. But
no, I was wondering too. They're right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was looking at something completely different. I lied. My apologies. They're ranked number 11 against tight ends. I'm sorry.
Oh, so I was even closer. Okay, that's good. Yeah, but shifting to the other side of the ball, I really don't see any fantasy viable moves in that running back position. You got Asiata, who's touchdown dependent. You have Jerick McKinnon, who's averaging maybe 3 yards a carry. I don't really like either one of them.
We've been saying it for weeks now. It's just definitely a situation that you want to stay away from. Like you said, you got touchdown dependent Asiata. You got McKinnon, who's averaging like less than 3 yards a carry. It's just not a good situation to be a part of. I mean, even like Sam Bradford, who actually has a nice matchup. I think Dallas is 29th against the pass. But, he only has like 2 or 3 multi-touchdown games all year. So
Yeah, well, you know what? Just to put it this way this week, guys, you know how much I hate Brock Cockswallower, because he swallows literal cock. I have him ranked ahead of Sam Bradford this week, even in a good matchup for Bradford. So if that tells you something, don't start Sam Bradford.
All right. If we go over to the wide receivers, I do like Stephon Diggs this week. It does look like he's on track to play. I got him ranked right here at number 17. So that's a nice little wide receiver 2 for you. I could see him getting wide receiver 1 numbers, though, very easily.
Yeah, this could definitely be a blow-up game for him. The secondary in Dallas, the corners, the safeties, everything, it just doesn't impress me enough. It's kind of their flaws are masked by that run game, like you were referencing earlier. And Stephon Diggs, I definitely have him solidly as a wide receiver 2 this week. However, I could expect much more from him.
What it boils down to is how are they going to use Stephon Diggs? Are they going to give him a lot of these little dink and ducks around the line of scrimmage and try to use that as their run game? Or are they going to try to do that and then also try to mix in some of those intermediate crossing routes that he is really good at running, So that's really going to be interesting to see how they do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we pretty much covered everything in this matchup. You want to move on to the next one?
Well, we didn't cover the tight end for Minnesota.
Oh, you're right.
He's one of my favorite plays this week. I got Kyle Rudolph at number 3. The Dallas Cowboys have been really bad against tight ends, especially as of late. I think they're 30th in the league against tight ends. And we've seen what Jordan Reed just did to him. He had a big game. He had 2 touchdowns. I don't know if I really don't think Kyle Rudolph's going to put up those type of numbers, but he is coming off a 9-catch game against Detroit. I could see him getting like 6 or 7 catches for like 60 yards and a touchdown.
Wow. Well, your expectations are definitely higher than mine. I do agree with you on the touchdown, though. I think that it's a little fluky to predict, but I think that the touchdown is definitely viable. And you're right, I have him as a top 10 tight end play this week at number 8. So, yeah, I definitely agree with everything you said about him.
All right. What's the next matchup we got on the slate?
All right, on the docket, we got, starting early on Sunday, we have the Lions at the Saints. I really like Matthew Stafford in this matchup. I think this is a really great matchup for him. The last time these two teams played, he had an excellent fantasy day. I believe he threw for 3 touchdown passes. I have not verified that, though.
Well, I do like him, too. I have Matthew Stafford ranked as my number 4 quarterback this week. He gets to go against the New Orleans defense that, we all know what they are. They are what they are.
They are what they are.
I actually love Theo Riddick in this one, too. I could see him getting like 10 to 15 touches. You definitely see him getting like a receiving score. I don't really see him getting a rushing score, but I could see him getting a receiving score. I got Theo Riddick ranked as my number 7 running back this week.
Yeah, I really like Theo Riddick too this week. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm as high as you are on him, but I am pretty high on him. I have him solidly as a wide receiver too. I have him ranked at number 20 on my list. So, I look for him to have a good game. This is a great matchup. You couldn't ask for much more.
Well, in PPR leagues, you really gotta think he can get he could get you like 8 catches. So that's 8 points right there. So that's really why I have him so high. I think he's gonna have a big reception total.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
There's been a lot of questions about who is the number one receiver over there in Detroit? And I'll give you the answer to that one. When they played Minnesota, do you know who covered? Who Xavier Rhodes covered?
No.
Golden Tate. So that should pretty much answer you who the number one receiver is over there, right? Just by the fact that he covered Golden Tate over Marvin Jones.
Nice.
And with that being said, I think I think Golden Tate could actually have a pretty good game in this one. I could see him getting some intermediate work done in this one, and I got him ranked number 14 this week.
Wow. Impressive. I am a little bit lower on him than you are. I have him ranked as I have just inside my wide receiver 2s at number 22. But yeah, I could definitely see what you're saying. It makes sense to me. This New Orleans team, I think that you're pretty much streaming nearly everybody against.
I mean, the only thing is, I've said it on a couple of other shows, New Orleans don't really give up a lot of touchdowns to outside receivers, but that's another reason why I have Tate, because he's more of like a slot guy where they kind of struggle against those type of players. So
yeah, definitely, I could definitely see that. But at this stage in the game, though, I think that Tate, you're kind of depending that touchdown.
Well, I mean, at least he's been getting some receptions on some weeks. Marvin Jones, he's been a ghost for a while now.
Yeah, he started the season blazing hot, and he just went away. He faded into the bushes.
As far as tight ends go, Ebron, he gave you a donut on Thanksgiving, and that's not a very nice treat on Thanksgiving, you know?
No, you don't want a donut on Thanksgiving. You want pie. And I think this week he could potentially deliver you a pie. I mean, this matchup is great. New Orleans has been one of the worst teams against the tight end position. I'm liking Ebron this week.
Well, in a week where I did not rank Gronk and I did not rank Jordan Reed, just because I don't know if they're going to play, that vaults. That's another reason why I had Kyle Rudolph at number 3. I didn't rank Gronk and I didn't rank Jordan Reed.
Oh, okay.
And it's another reason why I have Eric Ebron at number 4. So I do think he could have a pretty good game against New Orleans. That is one position where they've struggled at this year. But I think they're like number 21, number 22 against tight ends. So I could definitely see him eating in this one.
Yeah, I have him as my number 6 this week, and I definitely agree with you. I think that this is a week where Ebron could definitely feast.
Now, granted, you're going to have to knock a lot of my tight ends down one if Gronk and if Jordan Reed are to play. So, actually, I don't even know about Jordan Reed. He might make my top 10 if he plays, but playing limited against Arizona. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's go over to the other side of the ball. We got the New Orleans Saints playing the Detroit Lions at home. We know how good Drew Brees is. He's averaging like 360 yards at home. So, with that being said, Drew Brees is my number 1 quarterback, my start of the week for quarterbacks. I think he's going to be great.
Yeah, you know what? I want to be different here, but I can't really disagree with your logic. He's my number 1 quarterback this week as well. I think that this matchup is really great for him. And you know what's actually really funny is, I could see Colby Fleener actually getting involved. I know, it's crazy, right? But
I could see it too.
Detroit's one of the worst teams at defending the tight end position, and they have nearly given up a touchdown to the tight end position in almost every game this year. So I can see that getting involved, and that only bodes well for a guy like Michael Thomas not going away. Willie Snead's, a good receiver 3 play, and I look for Brandon Cooks to rebound off of his shitty performance last week.
Well, you know the story behind Brandon Cooks, right?
Depends on what story you're talking about.
Well, they asked Sean Payton, like, yo, what's up? Why didn't Brandon Cooks get any targets? And he said that it had a lot to do with the coverages that the Rams were throwing at him. And that, he's like, yeah, he definitely had some plays with his name and number on it. It's just the way they were covering him, we couldn't target him the ball. But if you look at it a little bit deeper, you can actually see that Brandon Cook's snap count has been going down for the past 3 weeks. That's a little bit concerning for me, especially if you're a Brandon Cooks owner, which I'm not, but, I mean, I'm actually a Michael Thomas owner, so I'm pretty happy about that. But it's just something that I've noticed. His snap count has gone down for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, you're a lucky bastard you got Michael Thomas, man. But yes, I do agree. But what I'm saying is he's not going away anytime soon. Brandon Cooks will. I think he's more of a boomer bust, like wide receiver 2 now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In fact, this week I have him as my number 11 receiver, and that's strictly because of matchup. We'll see how it ends up. I have Michael Thomas ranked ahead of him for anybody that cares. I have him as my number 8 receiver this week.
Yeah, I got Brandon Cooks way down there. I got him at number 19. I got Michael Thomas all the way up at number 7. So you can see where I stand between the two. Willie Snead almost made my top 24. I do like him too as well, though.
Yeah, I left him out of my top 22.
Yeah, but this is obviously looking like it could be a high-scoring game, so you're going to be starting a lot of people in this game. A lot of points to be scored.
I didn't look up the spreads for this game, but if I was a betting man, I think this would be the highest scoring game of the week.
Yeah, I'll actually look it up in a minute here. How do you see? You said that you like Fleener this week.
Yeah, I do actually like Fleener. I feel like he could definitely be relevant as far as fantasy purposes go. Now, I know it's hard to trust the guy, but I do have him right inside my tight end 1 rankings this week. I have him at number 12, but I could see that definitely going up.
Yeah, I have him there as well. I mean, what I noticed against the Lions is, a lot of tight ends have been scoring on them this year, but a lot of those stat lines have been like 4 for 40 and a touchdown, 5 for 50 and a touchdown. I could see him being somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I could see him catching a red zone touchdown. However, he doesn't get that touchdown, forget about it.
I mean, he's been like very unpredictable, so it's definitely something that you got to worry about. Obviously, if you had him, you probably dropped him by now. He's probably on the waiver wires. You'd have to think.
You would have to think.
I have him as my number 12 quarterback as well. What I'm worried about is his volume.
Tight end.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you said quarterback.
Oh.
Okay, just making sure.
I just looked it up. The over and under for that game is 53.5. And that is the highest this week. It's the highest I've seen in a while, too.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah. All right. I think we're good to move on to the next game.
All right. Next up, we have the Broncos at the Jaguars. I think that this is a game where Blake Bortles, man, you're in trouble, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this over and under is much lower. It's set at 41. The Broncos are 5.5-point favorites on the road. I tend to agree with Vegas. I could see them winning by I could actually see them covering the spread too. I could see them winning by 7. Even with Paxton Lynch at quarterback, I mean, the Denver defense is going to control that Jacksonville offensive line, and it's going to be a long day for BB.
Yeah, BB could definitely be flaming dumpster fire this week more than he has been so far this season. This could be a potential game where we see like a 1 touchdown, 3 interception performance out of Blake Bortles. So, needless to say, I left him out of my quarterback rankings this week, and you should too. He should not be in your lineup.
He is not there for me. It's interesting to note about Blake Bortles, though. His pass completion percentage is actually higher than it was last year.
Wow.
I mean, it's only at 60%, so it's still low. But it just goes to foreshadow what he was looking like even before this year.
Yeah, I think last year luck had a lot to do with it. Not Andrew Luck, just luck.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are going to overlook the fact that he wasn't completing a lot of passes when he's throwing for 35 touchdowns, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you tend to overlook that stat, but last year he was pretty erratic with his passes. Let's not forget that. I've been saying it all preseason, and I said that we were going to see that regression. I didn't think it was going to be to this level, but obviously I don't need to beat a dead horse, but this is a horrible matchup. Avoid him at all costs. Honestly, this brings to my next point, the Blue Falcon of the week for me, which is Mr. Allen Robinson.
I do not even have him as our wide receiver too.
Yeah, I left him out of my rankings completely. Just please don't do it. Don't do it to your team. Just put him on the bench, play someone else.
Well, even though he's been getting a lot of targets, he's been unable to bring a lot of them in because a lot of them are at his feet or he has to make a spectacular catch. And he ends up getting like 12 targets but getting like 5 receptions. And ultimately it makes him still touchdown dependent.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, so he's my Blue Falcon of the week. Do not start him, please. I hate it when we have quarterbacks that bring down the receiver's value so much that, it makes them not fantasy relevant. Because I think Allen Robinson's a great receiver, but maybe just kills him. However, also on that same team, that backfield is another situation I want to avoid. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah. I mean, Yeldon missed practice today. I think didn't Chris Ivory leave the game last week with a hamstring injury?
He did, and you know what I heard too from Gus Bradley? I heard that Denard Robinson's going to see some more work.
And that's not something anyone wants to see.
No, please no. Please God no.
I don't know if Julius Thomas is back yet. I know he missed last game too, so they're all banged up on offense.
Yeah, but another thing about Julius Thomas, you're not starting him.
No, you're not.
Yeah, and as far as Alan Hearns or whoever, Marquise Lee, just do yourself a favor, don't start him either.
I mean, there's really not a whole lot of options you could pick from Jacksonville. If we go over to the other side of the ball, how do you feel about these Denver receivers if Paxton Lynch is the quarterback?
Well, it definitely downgrades their value. I have my receivers ranked as if, Paxton Lynch will start. And I have Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, he is a wide receiver, too, for me this week. I have him as my number 17 receiver this week. I didn't like what I saw from him, the first week. And, Devontae Booker's been ineffective, too. So, he doesn't have, like, a run game he can lean upon. So this could get pretty ugly for Paxton Lynch. This is a pretty opportunistic secondary for Jacksonville. So, if he is the one that starts this week, he's got a minus P's and Q's. However, on the opposite of the spectrum, if Trevor Siemian starts, I definitely like these Denver receivers a lot more.
Jacksonville, the one bright spot on their team is their pass defense. So, Paxton Lynch, if he's the starter, I ranked the receivers as such. I got Emmanuel Sanders at number 22, and Demaryius Thomas did not make my my list because I only ranked up to 24. I just don't like the way what I seen out of Paxton Lynch when he was in. Even if Trevor Siemian is in, I don't really think it gives them a bump up that much, in my opinion, because Jacksonville actually has a pretty good pass defense. What you're looking for here is maybe Sanders to hit one of those long intermediate routes. Other than that, I just don't. I don't know if either one's gonna get enough volume. To be honest.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I sure hope as a Denver fan that Devontae Booker comes to play because this game is going to be somewhat determined off of the run. I'm not too concerned about Jacksonville as an opponent, but I think Booker really needs to get his feet out from under him, and he needs to have a big game.
Would you consider a Booker a nice play this week?
I actually would. He's struggled as of late, but I think that the volume is there. Obviously, Kubiak has not been shy about feeding him the ball, even with his struggles. I have him ranked. Hang on here, I mixed up my sheets here. I have him ranked just outside of my RB2s this week at number 25.
I got him ranked similarly. I got him at number 22. I think that he'll get enough work and a nice chance to get a touchdown. So.
Yeah. I think that he's going to have the opportunity there, and in the last 3 weeks he's had over 20 carries, so that tells you something. The opportunity is there. I
mean, the more volume you get, the more chances you get to make a big play. So.
Exactly.
No tight end to speak of for Denver. So let's go on to the next matchup. Yeah.
I would say yeah to that. Let's go. So we got the Texans at the Packers. You're not starting Brock Osweiler.
Why not?
Even against a golden matchup against a banged-up secondary for Green Bay, he's still not even close to considering. Just don't do it.
This is apparently such a bad game, according to Bovada, where I get my spreads from, that they don't even have this game on there to bet on.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, this is two struggling teams. The sad part is that Houston might actually still make the playoffs. Which is
Houston might win their division.
I know. I think it speaks to how horrible the AFC South is. I mean, God.
With that being said, obviously neither one of us are going to rank Osweiler. This is a game where Green Bay. I'll tell you what. Green Bay is the perfect example of why I don't like looking ahead at future matchups, because for the first few weeks in this year, you're like, wow, this is a really good run defense. Can't start your running back, and then now all of a sudden it's like, whoop, their defense is complete shit. Looks like we're starting everyone, unless your offense led by Carson Wentz.
Yeah, that's true. I got Lamar Miller as my number 10 running back this week. I think that even though he is a little banged up, and his volume has kind of been shrinking in weeks past, I still think that you need to start him as at least as a nominal RB2, RB1 borderline.
I feel like this game is very, very. It's going to be very similar to the one that they just played against the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, obviously Houston doesn't really have a very scary offense. Really, it's been hurting Lamar Miller's value all year. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities to run in the red zone. It's really cutting down into his upside. I have Lamar Miller ranked at number 12, just based on the fact that he's still going to see the volume. But I don't know if he gets a touchdown in this one. I want to say yes, but I mean that's the owner in me speaking because I own him. But
yeah,
I mean I'm not expecting it.
Yeah, I'm a Lamar Miller owner as well. You got to fire him up, but you got to temper those expectations because it's kind of similar to what's happening in LA now. Todd Gurley, they don't respect the pass, so they're going to stack up against the run. That's exactly what's happening.
I mean, let me just ask you this: as bad as I know I'm kind of skipping around here a little bit, but as bad as Ryan Fitzpatrick has been, wouldn't you rather have just had Houston sign him over Brock Osweiler?
Yeah, that would
I actually think that he would make that offense competent.
Yeah, I would have rather had Brian Hoyer all year.
Well, yeah, I mean maybe with Houston he wouldn't have fucked himself up.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe he would have got injured. I would rather have Jay Cutler on that offense.
I mean, at least somebody that can get the ball to Hopkins. Someone can get the ball to Hopkins, that would help Lamar Miller out. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually maybe looked for a quarterback in like the third or fourth round. I know this year's draft really isn't real rich in quarterbacks, but they need to do something there because Brock Osweiler is not the answer.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't benched him yet. But speaking of DeAndre,
because they have no one else.
Yeah, I have him as my number 15 receiver this week. It's a golden matchup, but please temper expectations like you have all season for him. Brock Osweiler does not know how to play the quarterback position on a pro NFL team, so just please, just know as I'm ranking him that this could be a bust game. However, if he is utilized, it is a good matchup. DeAndre Hopkins,
he is like Sterling Shepard, but without the touchdowns. He's like Moncrief, but without the touchdowns. He's a 5 for 50 type of guy, in my opinion. I do have him ranked at number 18, but that's a name alone.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard to start him. He's such a dynamic playmaker, but when you can't get your playmakers the ball, they can't do anything.
But I kind of like a little bit. I got him ranked at number 7 this week. Is C.J. Fedorowicz. That is a spot where Green Bay has been getting hurt by. Fedorowicz, he had 6 targets last week. I think he had like 4 for 45 or something like that. This could be a good game where he can get a touchdown, I think, because, it hasn't been going to Hopkins.
Yeah, I didn't rank Fedorowicz this week, but I can definitely see what you're saying. I mean, he is getting heavily relied upon. He's getting some red zone work, and he's one of the only targets he's one of the only guys that Brock Osweiler is like really keying in on and trying to feed the ball to.
Green Bay, they're giving up 67.3 yards a game to the tight end, and they're averaging about almost 8 targets a game. So that's quite a bit.
Yeah, I would have to say so. They're definitely getting open downfield.
All right, let's go over to the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers, how he was struggling earlier, but that's not really the case anymore. He's been on fire lately.
Yeah, he's been. I don't know what's happened.
He's actually, I think he's the number 1 quarterback in fantasy football right now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Going into the year, we were like, I was saying how every year where Aaron Rodgers has played all 16 games, besides last year, he's finished at either number 1 or number 2 at quarterback, and it's starting to shape up that way this year.
Yeah, he's been recovering lately, and I don't know if Mike McCarthy's kind of given him more of a range with the playbook or whatever. But whatever it is, it's working. Aaron Rodgers this week, I have him ranked at. Hold on here. God damn it. My number 3 quarterback of the week. This Houston defense, I can't make heads or tails of it. Sometimes they look good, sometimes they don't. But Aaron Rodgers, you can't really say much more about him.
Well, Houston actually has been pretty good against the pass. I know they're definitely in the top 5 in the pass defense. But I think on volume alone, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get a really good day because, obviously their run game is shit. So I could definitely see him getting another 45 to 50 attempts this week, and it's gonna total up close to 300 yards.
How do you think Davante Adams does?
You know what? He looked like a fucking beast against Philadelphia. And Philadelphia has actually been pretty good against the pass as well. So, I mean, I could definitely see him being pretty good on volume. He had, 2 touchdowns? I got Davante Adams ranked number 23, but he could definitely surpass that ranking in terms of points.
I definitely agree with you. I have him exactly where you have him at number 23, which is really funny. Do you think that he's the best receiver that Green Bay has now, aside from Jordy Nelson, because he's getting the touchdowns?
Well, it really boils down to what type of league do you play in, and this is why we talk about this in the preseason. Know your league, because if you're in a PPR league, I definitely like Adams. But I mean, in standard leagues, Jordy Nelson's getting it done. I mean, he's got 9, 10 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got Jordy Nelson ranked at number 10. He's actually been getting the receptions lately too. So I definitely like the kind of volume he's been getting. It is interesting to note, according to Football Outsiders, Kansas City against wide receiver 2s, which that's what I'm considering Davante Adams, a wide receiver 2. They're negative 27.4%, which is a good thing for defenses. It's the DVOA. If you don't know what DVOA is, it's the defensive variance over average per game situations per position. They're negative 27% against wide receiver 2s, which is actually really good. That is. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at Miami. Oh yeah, no, they're number 3. It's number 3 in the league against the wide receiver 2s, so that's pretty good. That's why I kind of have Davante Adams ranked a little bit lower, but he gets so much volume that it could be a little bit of an outlier for him.
Yeah, and needless to say, Randall Cobb is not on your start list.
No, he's not. He did not make my wide receiver 2 list. No.
Yeah. Would you drop him on your team, or is he not droppable?
No, I wouldn't necessarily drop him because he's shown that he could still have some pretty good weeks, but he's just kind of inconsistent.
Yeah. Very well said. I don't think we really need to spend too much time on James Starks and Christine Michael. I think this is kind of a shit show back there.
I will say that I do think that James Starks is going to start losing some work to Christine Michael as he learns the playbook.
I do agree with you.
So, I mean, that's just even more reason to stay away.
Yeah, just stay away.
All right, let's go on to the next matchup.
All right, we got the Dolphins at the Ravens. I think this will be a very low-scoring game. And the Ravens are one of the top teams at defending the run. And this also brings air to my next Blue Falcon of the Week, Jay Ajayi. I think this is a game where he definitely gets kind of bottled up. What do you think?
I do think that he gets bottled up, and I'm a little bit mad that you said that he is your Blue Falcon of the Week because I also had him labeled as my Blue Falcon of the Week. So how dare you steal him from me?
That just means we're on the same page. We're so in sync with each other that we just...
Yeah, we usually don't talk a whole lot before the show. Maybe a few certain topics, but other than that, we don't really talk about who's going to be our starts of the week or who's going to be our Blue Falcons. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it definitely is. And it's funny how similarly it happens. But, Jay Ajayi, I have him ranked as my number 12 running back this week. But temper expectations, people, please. With the volume he's getting, I have him ranked there. But I do think this is a game where he could easily get phased out and bottled up. So very, very tempered expectations for him this week.
Yeah, see, I have him much lower. I have him at number 19 because I was ranking him as my Blue Falcon, and my Blue Falcons don't go that high, baby. This is, like you said before, this is going to be a low-scoring game. Even Vegas thinks that. The over and under is at 40.5. They have Baltimore at 3.5-point favorites at home. And you know what? I honestly think that Baltimore will get a win here.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you too. Now, other than Jay Ajayi, who's fantasy relevant on this team? Because I don't really see a lot. Jarvis Landry, no. Devontae Parker, probably not. And then Ryan Tannehill, I don't like this matchup for him either.
Well, here's how I see the game going. I could see Jay Ajayi getting 20 carries, but for 60 yards. And because he got 20 carries, that means Tannehill probably threw the ball 25 to 30 times, which means Jarvis Landry's not getting the volume. Devontae Parker, he missed practice today, so he's hurt. Who knows what his health is looking like right now? It could be Kenny Stills and then Carew behind him. So I'm really not liking this game for Miami.
Yeah, I don't either. Do you think Kenny Stills is a good flex play this week?
No.
Okay. Yeah, then you just pretty much emulated what I've been saying all week. So I'm pretty sure we can just go ahead and move on to the other side of the ball here.
Yeah, because they have no tight end to speak of. So let's go over to Baltimore. Joe Flacid can probably remain on your waiver wire. No need to rush to pick him up. How do you feel about this backfield?
You know what, man? This is one of the biggest questions I keep getting is it Terrence West? Is it what's his goddamn name?
Kenneth Dixon.
Yeah, that's it. Kenneth Dixon. Is it Kenneth Dixon? I own Kenneth Dixon. I was very patient with this, so I'm very excited to start him. However, I don't think you should start him this week unless you have to. This is obviously going in his direction, but if you have other options, please use those other options. I want to see this play out for another week. With that being said, I have him ranked as my number 22 running back this week. I think he's definitely in that RB2 category now, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, I don't know about RB2, but I don't have him ranked as such. There's some guys that I do like more than him. I do think, though, that this could be a changing of the guard. I do think that maybe Kenneth Dixon will start getting more work going forward. I mean, last week was the first week where he outsnapped and outtouched Terrence West, so that's very nice to see if you're a Kenneth Dixon truther. I know you have been. I haven't been so much, but I'm starting to come around. I probably have them both as RB3s, though.
Well, okay, here. I got a question for you real quick. I don't want to get too off topic here, but all right, who are you starting, Kenneth Dixon or Tim Hightower?
I'm starting Hightower.
Who are you starting, Kenneth Dixon or Devontae Booker?
I'm starting Devontae Booker.
Who are you starting, Kenneth Dixon or Rashad Jennings?
I got Rashad Jennings ranked in my RB2s.
Okay. See, that's where we differ. I have all of those guys ranked below him. I'm pretty high on him this week. I think that he's definitely getting volume, and Miami hasn't been the greatest at defending the run this year. So.
All right, well, we can agree to disagree. I just like Rashad Jennings' matchup that we'll get into later. So.
Very thee well.
All right, as far as this, I mean, you could pretty much do this for the wide receivers too. I mean, which receiver do you like more? Do you like Steve Smith or do you like Mike Wallace? I mean, it's kind of hard to tell which one's going to be the one to own from week to week.
Yeah, I would tend to put my money on Steve Smith. These last couple of weeks he's been averaging quite a bit of points, and he's been getting the job done. I have him outside of my wide receiver 2 rankings for obvious reasons, but I think that if you're in a 3-receiver league, he could be a really good wide receiver 3 play, especially this week.
Well, you know who it was last week. It was Mike Wallace was the one that scored. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's really hard to predict. I don't have either one of them ranked inside my top 24. So I mean, there's better plays, like you said. I think they're both like wide receiver 3s.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that one. And with that being said, I think we can safely move on.
Yeah, because I don't have Dennis Pitta in my top 12.
No, he's not even close.
Yeah, I said this on the last show. You know what I have in common with Dennis Pitta?
Oh yeah, you don't have a touchdown.
Exactly.
And neither does he. Get it? All right. So next we have the Bills. The Bills are rolling right now, baby, and we got them going up against the Raiders at home. You know what? This game is one that, as a Broncos fan, yeah, everybody's going to say I'm going against the Raiders, but I do think this is a game the Bills could win.
Yeah, just before we jump into it real fast, correction, Mike Wallace did not score a touchdown last week. I lied.
Okay. Thank you for that stat correction.
Yeah, but this is actually, I think that Vegas tends to agree with you. Oakland is only favored by 3.5 at home. It does have a pretty high over and under. It's set at 49. Who are some of the guys that you like on Buffalo if they're going to make this one close?
Well, I like Tyrod Taylor. He is right outside of my quarterback 1 conversation this week. I have him as my number 14 quarterback. So I'm a little higher on him, but I think that's also to do with the fact that I think that he's a good bet to score a touchdown this week. And not to mention, you got LaShawn McCoy back there. The Raiders' defense has been pretty awful this year. I like LaShawn McCoy to roll again.
Did you rank Tyrod Taylor like he was going to have Sammy Watkins?
I did. I expect Sammy Watkins to play. I think this is just his foot being sore from some time off. I'm not too worried about it, but err on the side of caution.
Okay, I just asked because I have Tyrod Taylor at number 17, and I ranked him like how Sammy Watkins was last week, limited.
Yeah, that's about where I have him too. Even if they have Sammy on a snap count, I still like Tyrod Taylor there. Mainly because he can get plays done with his legs. He's a dual threat. But the thing is, though, the difference is he can actually do it properly.
I think this is going to be a game where Buffalo is going to get it. If Buffalo is going to get the W, they're going to have to run the ball often, run the ball efficiently. That's kind of a reason why I have Tyrod Taylor a little bit lower, and it's also a reason why I have LaShawn McCoy as my number 1 running back this week. Interesting number about the Buffalo offensive line. The Buffalo as a team is averaging 2.76 yards a carry before contact. That means before anybody touches them, they're gaining almost 3 yards a carry.
Offensive line, kudos to you.
The only team that's even close to that is Tennessee at 2.44, and they're on bye week. So
nice. I am very high on LaShawn McCoy this week too. I have him as my number 3 running back this week. David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell are in a class of their own, in my opinion. But yeah, LaShawn McCoy, he's definitely going to see the volume, and I think the game plan to beat the Raiders is going to be, play to your strengths and play to their weaknesses, and that's of the run game.
Yeah, I got him at number 1 because I could see him being a heavy part of this game. I could see him having 25 touches, about 20 rushes, 5 receptions. I could see him getting those David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell type of numbers, getting like 140, 150 total yards. I could definitely see that being a possibility in this game.
Oh, do you now?
Oh, yeah.
No, we all know what LaShawn McCoy can do, like in limited or in full workloads. So
I will say though, outside of his 75-yard run last week, he had 18 carries for 28 yards and a touchdown. So
there you have it. I am not going to talk about the receivers for Buffalo too much because I didn't rank either of them because I don't know. Is Robert Woods?
No, Robert Woods isn't going to be returning till week 15. So.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I don't even know if he's going to play.
No, he's not. He's expected back week 15.
Okay, so that tells you how severe his injury is. And then you got a guy, Sammy. I left him outside of my wide receiver 2 rankings. Even if he does play, even if he plays a full game load, I still got to see more.
I mean, he's obviously the ultimate boomer bust type of player. He's either going to put you up wide receiver 1 numbers, or he's going to put you up wide receiver 5 numbers. It's usually not in between unless he's playing limited like he was last time. So I'm not trusting it. He's remaining safely on my bench.
Yeah, I would go ahead and sit and wait for a little bit on him.
I will say though, if you're a guy, say you have Allen Robinson who has a bad matchup, or say you have AJ Green and he's out, then maybe you might want to think about that upside that Sammy Watkins can bring to the table.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Or if you're a guy that's dealing with that Tyrell Williams shoulder injury, that status, maybe Sammy plays, he doesn't, you can throw Sammy in that lineup. Either way, it's kind of up to you. Anyways, how do you feel about shifting to the other side of the ball?
Let's go ahead and do that. I mean, we don't got to touch on Charles Clay. Let's go to the other side of the ball, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, if we go to the other side of the ball, Oakland actually has a lot of weapons over there. How do you feel about Derek Carr against this Buffalo defense that seemed to have improved a little bit on the passing side of the ball?
I still like Derek Carr this week. What I'm really concerned about is he going to be able to make those downfield throws like he does? Because from what I've heard today, he apparently dislocated 2 joints in that finger that he dislocated. It was actually 2. So
yeah, I touched on it a little bit on the last show. He did dislocate it in 2 different spots. The good news is there's no breaks, and he was able to play through it. But now that the adrenaline has worn off, how accurate is his passing going to be?
That's what I'm worried about. And this Bills defense has been much improved since the start of the season. I don't need to tell you that. But I have him ranked as my number 10 quarterback this week. I think that he will still be effective. Needless to say, he's got too good a receivers to not be a good playmaker this week.
See, I do have him ranked at number 10, and that's just I'm going off of what I seen from when he broke his finger from the fourth quarter on. That's how I'm ranking him. But it would not surprise me if he's like one of the Blue Falcons,
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't surprise me either.
Here's where I go with it. I'm sorry, I don't try to cut you off, but remember that really good year that Matthew Stafford was having in, I think it was 2011, where he threw for over 5,000 yards, 40-something touchdowns? Well, There was a period in time where he was playing with an injured thumb, and he was throwing interceptions, and that's kind of what's worried about me. The pinky and the thumb play a big role into throwing a football, so...
Yeah, no, you're definitely right, and definitely you should err on the side of caution with Derek Carr. This could be a game where it's, he's a hero or he's a zero of the week. We could be talking about him either way next week.
All right. The running game, though, is where I think could get it done. Buffalo has given up a lot of rushing touchdowns. I believe it's definitely in the double digits. This could be a game where, Latavius Murray can get it done. I know he scored a short one last week. He's a touchdown machine. What else can I say? I have him ranked at number 13 this week.
Wow. Okay, I'm a little bit lower on him. I have him ranked at number 20 this week for running backs, because I think that he's just too touchdown dependent for me to put him up. But I do like your logic there with Buffalo. They do see a lot of yards to the running back position, so I definitely see him moving up in my rankings as the week goes.
Well, one thing I've noticed about Latavius Murray recently, he has not been averaging his yards per carry is not very good. But what's keeping him healthy is these touchdowns that just seem to never go away. I think in every game he's played this year, he's scored a touchdown except for 2.
Yeah,
so,
no.
I mean,
he's like a Dante Moncrief.
and Oakland, I think they lead the league in pass interference calls. I think a lot of those calls they go for him. And it puts the ball right there at like the 1 or 2 yard line, and then they just plunge it in from there.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, he survives off those 1 yard bunnies, man.
All right, let's go over to the wide receivers. How do you feel about this wide receiver core?
Well, it's really hard to peg it week to week, but obviously I have Amari Cooper ranked ahead of Crabtree. I think that he will be the one that's most involved. I have him as my number 6 receiver this week. I like what Amari Cooper represents, but just like we saw last week, you got to temper expectations a little bit. He's going to have those weeks where they're down weeks.
Well, good news for Amari Cooper. Buffalo actually gives up 72.5 yards a game to wide receiver ones, and that's 7.6 targets a game. So that ranks 24th in the league. So that's good news for Amari Cooper. The question is, who does Buffalo consider the wide receiver one? That's the real question, because against wide receiver twos, they're only giving up 44 yards a game, which is eighth in the league.
Well, this pair of receivers is just so good. It's like you game plan around one, the other one will merge.
Yeah, I tend to think that Amari Cooper will do a little bit better than him. I got them both ranked pretty good. I got Amari Cooper ranked at number 11, and I have Michael Crabtree at number 16. So they're fairly close.
Yeah, I have Michael Crabtree ranked around the same. I have him ranked at number 17, so we're not too far off.
We're not seeing any more touchdowns out of Wolford, are we?
I wouldn't expect so. I have safely left him outside of my top 12, and I didn't rank past that because I just think it's worthless.
I know. I will say, though, Buffalo has been kind of weak at tight end, but, Wolford's still in his second year. He's still a year away from breaking out, so we can move on to the next game.
Yeah, all right. So we got the New York Giants at the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a game where, these are two teams that are both kind of fighting for their playoff lives. I would say Pittsburgh more than New York. So this is a game where I think that Pittsburgh's going to have to come out hungry to win, and I do think they end up pulling this game out.
Big Ben has most of his success at home. Pittsburgh, they're 6-point favorites. The over and under is set at 48.5. So it could be a high-scoring game. I don't necessarily think they'll get that high, but Ben Roethlisberger plays a lot better at home. He's been doing. I have him ranked at number 6 this week. Obviously, the Giants have a pretty decent pass defense, but what I really haven't seen out of the Giants is a good pass rush, and I think you need a good pass rush if you're going to do anything against Big Ben. And I think ultimately that's what's going to lose the Giants this game.
Yeah,
I do believe that the Giants' safety leads them in sacks. So that's tell you how bad their pass defense or their pass rush is.
Yeah, no, that definitely agree with that. I have Ben Roethlisberger ranked pretty similarly. I have him at number 6.
No, you have him same.
Oh yeah. Oh, I thought you said 5.
Yes, I got him number 6.
Okay, yeah. So we have him ranked exactly the same, and I think it's going to be kind of more the same. Like you said, he plays better at home. You have Le'Veon Bell as your running back wide receiver hybrid, back there, so that's always good. And then you have Antonio Brown. So, needless to say, I don't really care who New York's thrown at him. I love this offense.
Yeah, I can definitely see this being a game where it's like 27-21, something like that. So I got Pittsburgh winning this game. Obviously, Le'Veon Bell is going to be a big part of that. He's been on a tear lately. He has 4 touchdowns in 3 games. I got him ranked as my number 3 running back, just behind McCoy and David Johnson. So obviously, he's right up there. I could see him having a pretty good game. I want to give him 130 total yards this game.
Yeah, I have him as my number 2 running back this week, and I would have to say the same, 130 total yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. Obviously, Antonio Brown is Antonio Brown. I don't have Antonio Brown ranked where you think I'd have him, though. I have him at number 3. I know normally you'd put him at number 1. I have him at number 3. Just for the fact there's a couple of guys that I kind of like their matchups a little bit better than him, and I'm kind of tweaking it up. I know he did have 3 touchdowns, so it's kind of hard to rank him as such. But, the Giants, they're number 4 against wide receiver ones this year. They're giving up 69 yards a game, but they got a DVOA of negative 17.5%, so that's pretty good considering against the rest of the league. So I have Antonio Brown knocked down 2 spots because of that.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I have him ranked at number 2 this week. I think the only one that I like a little more is, and I might be a little bit biased because I watched the Sunday night game against Denver KC, and this is a burnable Kansas City secondary. I don't want to get too into it, but that's why I have Julio Jones higher. Anyways, as far as Antonio Brown goes, yeah, he is Antonio Brown. That is concerning, but yet I still think that you're going to fire him up no matter what. So,
oh, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any other receivers on this Pittsburgh offense that you like?
No.
I'd have to agree with you. Eli Rogers is probably the next one up in line, but this is a pretty good Giants defense across the board, actually. So, I mean, they got negative percentages against each receiver, which negative percentages are good against when you're talking in terms of defense. So their secondary across the board is pretty good, unless you're talking about tight ends.
Yeah, there you go. I think we can safely move on then.
Yeah, because I can't really put my thumb on either tight end for Pittsburgh, so we can go over to the other side of the ball.
Yeah. So we got Eli Manning over there, who's he's been pretty good lately. He throws a couple
He's
more touchdowns.
Finally starting to pick it up.
Finally at the end of the season, but the team has stayed afloat, so that's nice. Rashad Jennings, I'm not really feeling too great about.
No, I actually like Rashad Jennings this week. I think that Pittsburgh hasn't been good against the run. They can definitely get it done there. You're gonna want to run the ball if you're gonna want to beat Pittsburgh. You want to keep that hot offense off of the field. I got Rashad Jennings ranked at number 23 this week, so he just made my RB2 rankings. He's been getting the bulk of the carries over there too. He hasn't really been sharing it with Paul Perkins, and there's really no one else over there besides him. So.
Yeah, you know what? Rashad Jennings to me, I don't like this matchup. Even though
you don't like Rashad Jennings.
Yeah, no, I don't. Let's be honest. I don't like him at all. And that being said, I just get this feeling this is a game where he's not going to be relevant. And last week, they played the fucking Browns of all teams, and he only had 55 total yards. I mean, come on, man.
Well, it's getting to that time of year where the weather isn't as good. It's getting colder. The scoring is going to be lower. And it's going to affect the offensive numbers. And I think that's had a lot to do with him playing the Cleveland Browns. I mean, because even Eli Manning didn't even have 200 yards passing. He had 3 touchdowns, but he didn't have 200 yards passing. So,
yeah.
I'm just saying that you really got to... This is the time of the year, if there's any time of the year where you're going to be paying attention to the weather, it's at the end of the year. Especially when you're playing in either New York or Pittsburgh. There's a good chance it could snow if there's any precipitation, so...
Yeah, there you have it. these receivers, obviously Odell is Odell. I have him ranked as my number 3 this week, and he's going to do Odell things.
He's going to do Odell things. And the thing is, Odell things are actually better than what Antonio Brown things and Mike Evans things are this week. I got Odell Beckham as my number 1 receiver in my start of the week against Pittsburgh, because obviously they're going to need his big playability. So I got him ranked as my number 1.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, no, I have him ranked as number 3. The only one that you said, I do have Mike Evans ranked below him, but I do believe that this is going to be a great matchup for him.
I know I'm going to call myself out on this show right now. I was telling everyone, how, William Ty, I call him William, could be a nice streaming option going forward. And what does he do to me? He completely proves me wrong. He gets 2 catches for like 12 yards against the Cleveland Browns, no touchdowns. That's very disappointing. I thought I was expecting him to be like a sneaky little sleeper for me, but don't worry about him, folks. Just he's 4% owned. He should be 0.
Yeah. What do you think about Sterling Shepard this week?
Well, Eli Manning said, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not giving you any targets. I'm sorry that I didn't look your way." But Pittsburgh has actually been one of the best teams against wide receiver 2s. They're ranked number 4 against wide receiver 2s. So it's not looking promising for a guy like Sterling Shepard. I'm sure he'll still get like 8 to 9 targets, like 4 catches, 40 yards. He has been touchdown dependent, but maybe that doesn't happen this game.
Hey man, who knows? But I think we've safely covered this topic. You want to go ahead and move on?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that.
All right. So we got the Rams at the Patriots, and I think I'm starting Jared Goff this week. JK.
Why not? He had 3 touchdowns last week, didn't he?
Yeah, he did look pretty good. Still got to see more.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is a game where I see New England walking away with, actually.
Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that pretty much all of America thinks that, too. Tom Brady's actually my number 2 quarterback of the week. I know he was limited, he didn't practice today. But, that being aside, I still think it would take a miracle for him to not play. And, this LA defense has been better than advertised. So, I'm not so much tempering expectations for Tom Brady. I'm just saying, that he does have a tough matchup this week.
Going into last week, the LA Rams were number 5 in pass defense, and Brady shredded them. So, I'm not worried about Brady. The fact that I see Brady missing practice right now only makes me happier, because that means they're giving him rest to get his knee healthy, and he's gonna come into this game, and I think he's gonna tear him a new one. I mean, Tom Brady's gonna do Tom Brady-like things to him.
Well, hey man, Tom Brady gonna do Tom Brady things, and he's ranked number 2 on my board for a reason.
I got him number 2 as well.
I'm just saying this is a difficult matchup as far as defenses go, but I think that if there's anybody up to the task, it's Tom Brady.
Well, the good news is Tom Brady gets to play at home. It's a warm weather team that has to go play in a cold weather place. That's always an advantage to cold weather teams.
It absolutely is.
So that's one thing I like. Here's a good question for you though. The New England Patriots have 3 viable running backs. Obviously, it looks like James White is getting phased out a little bit. Who do you like more between LeGarrette Blount and Dion Lewis in a PPR setting?
Well, you know what? If you ask me with a gun to my head right now, I think I would go with the safe answer and say LeGarrette Blount, just because of we know Dion Lewis has been injured, and I just he hasn't been as involved as I would have liked. So just based off of opportunity alone, I still have to say LeGarrette Blount. But I do like the fact that Dion Lewis is getting shuffled in there, and they're finally getting him some work. But in a PPR setting, I do like Dion Lewis more. So this is a very tough question.
Well, this past week we've finally seen Dion Lewis getting some more work, And we all know what Dion Lewis did last year. I think what did he play, like 6 or 7 games?
Yeah, and he had he had over 600 yards of total
620 total yards of offense in those 6 games. I mean, that's wide receiver. That's like wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 running back 1, running back 2 production. So, I mean, he's starting to get close to that. I believe he got like 60-something yards last game. The Garrett Blount, he only had 11 carries. As Dion Lewis gets more acclimated and gets more comfortable with his playing time, I think that he could turn into what he's been doing last year, because this is the first week where you kind of seen Garrett Blount's carries go down. I mean, I'm just going to rattle off like the last month worth of carries. He had 24 carries, 18 carries, 21 carries, 19 carries, and now Dion Lewis finally starts getting some playing time, and he gets 11 carries. That kind of worries me a little bit.
Yeah, no, and we both called this at the start of the season. We knew this was going to happen when Dion Lewis came back. It was like, hey, that's why people were staying away from Garrett Blount, because this and that. He actually turned in some really good performances this year, but like I said, if you had a gun to my head right this second and I had to pick right now, I would say Garrett Blount, but I think you give me a week and I will definitely say Dion Lewis.
Well, it all really depends. What kind of LA defense shows up? Sometimes their defense looks really fucking good, and then there's other times where it's like, who are these people?
Yeah, sometimes they look like complete imposters.
All right. With that being said, though, I have LeGarrette Blount ranked at number 16, but I have Dion Lewis ranked very close. I have him ranked number 18, so they're right there.
Wow. Yeah, I left Dion Lewis out of my rankings this week just because I need to see more.
I've seen enough. All I've seen is James White getting phased out. That's all I need to see, because I'm not expecting Dion Lewis to get those carries in between the tackles. That's LeGarrette Blount's territory. Like he's been getting those receptions though.
We all know that you want to slob on Dion's knob.
I have no reason to slob on his knob. He is not on a single one of my teams, so I am being very unbiased here.
I know, but you just always love him. You love him. It's okay. It's okay, John. Anyways, as far as the receivers in New England go, obviously you have Julian Edelman there, who I do think will start this week. I would temper expectations a little bit for him and this matchup. But I have him inside my right outside of my wide receiver 1 numbers at number 14. I don't know how you see him shaking out this week.
Well, with the possibility of Gronk missing some time, I don't know if he's necessarily going to miss this week. I kind of hope he does, just because I want him to be healthy going forward. But if he does miss some time, I do like Edelman. I have Edelman ranked at number 15. Obviously, I'll have to knock him down a little bit if Gronk does play. But if Gronk misses, I do like Edelman, because he plays in that same. He kind of plays in that same area where Gronk would occupy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I have him ranked as such for that very reason. Do you think any other...
But would you rank him as again?
Oh, I ranked him at 14.
Okay, so we're pretty close on that one.
Yeah, exactly. And I also ranked him as if Gronk was not going to play. I didn't rank Gronk this week.
Yeah, neither did I.
Yeah, I'm going to expect him not to play. But do you think there's receivers that are going to be fantasy viable on this New England team?
Well, I really don't know how I feel about Malcolm Mitchell. I feel like if you're picking him up and you're starting him, you're chasing points.
Yeah.
Edelman, he's not an option. Hogan, he's been quiet most of the year.
Wait, did you mean Amendola? You said Edelman.
Oh yeah, I did. I'm sorry. Yeah, I did mean Amendola. I'm sorry. Yeah, Amendola. I don't like him. Hogan's been pretty quiet. It seems like, and it even seems like even when Gronk doesn't play, Martellus Bennett doesn't do a whole lot. It seems like he does most of his damage when Gronk does play. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, no, I was going to say that too. I won't specifically call him my Blue Falcon, but I think a lot of people are like, ooh, Gronk's going to be out. Let's start Martellus Bennett. Not quite.
I would worry about that a little bit.
Yeah, I he could potentially be a bust alert or a blue falcon or whatever you want to call it.
And you know what? I think maybe both of us are, in terms of PPR, are a little bit lower on Julian Edelman than we should be, because he's been getting a massive amount of targets lately.
Yeah, and Tom Brady's been on a warpath since he's been back, but I do think that we're being way too low on him. I know I was really low on him preseason. I don't think that's kind of went away, but I think I definitely should be higher on him with the amount of volume he is getting. Julian
Edelman, he has 36 targets the past 3 weeks. That's average 12 a week, and he's been over 75 yards in all 3 weeks, although he only has 1 touchdown. So, but it's really, really good PPR option the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
I mean, even going before his little bye week on week 9, his targets were still there. He had 8 targets, 10 targets, 7 targets, 10 targets, even before the bye week. So he's been getting those targets lately.
Yeah.
All right. We already touched on the tight end a little bit. I think we pretty much covered that adequately.
Let's go to the other side of the ball here.
Let's do it.
All right, so we got Jared Goff starting again, who's coming off of a pretty decent performance last week. He kind of impressed me, which is not saying a lot. Anyways, I definitely don't see him replicating this performance. I think this New England defense is going to be more than good enough to take care of the challenge at hand.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that New England has a really good defense.
I don't either.
But with that being said, they have a good enough defense to take care of this offense.
Yeah.
The only player on this offense that I have ranked is Todd Gurley, and he barely made my rankings. He's ranked number 21.
He's solidly an RB2, and he's at this point touchdown dependent too. It's just, it's kind of sad to see his fall from grace, but the Rams have done it to themselves.
Honestly, this dates back even to last year. I mean, if you're even dating back to last year, he was struggling towards the end of last year. You know what I mean?
No, he definitely was. Yeah.
I think since last year, he's averaged under 4 yards a carry.
Yeah, he got nearly all his yards last year off of huge games where he blew up 40+ points a game, just monster games. And then there were some games where he just didn't do anything.
He's averaging 3.4 yards a carry this year.
Yeah, buddy.
And he only has 4 touchdowns. I mean, it is nice to see, though, that he has 30 catches, though. But that doesn't happen every week.
Yeah, it kind of sounds a little silly when, he said at the start of the season, he's like, yeah, I drafted him number 1 overall in fantasy. And that actually happened in a lot of leagues. He got drafted number 1 overall, and now look at this.
Yeah, I mean, I think both of us were saying, kind of be wary about him a little bit. He doesn't really have an offensive line. So, I mean, that just goes to show you sometimes you got to be worried about a small sample size.
So, I mean, but here, obviously we're both on the same page with Tavon Austin, so we're not even going to talk about him. But Kenny Britt, is he a good flex play this week?
I do think he is a good flex play this week.
Yeah, I agree too.
I don't have him ranked in my top 24, but he is a wide receiver 3.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that he's a nice flex play this week.
All right, hang on. Let's take a break for 2 minutes, man. I have to take a pee really bad.
All right, go ahead, man.
Say what's up.
I always shut that window because it's so cold.
Yeah, I know. It's cold as shit. It's cold as
All right, man. I'm sorry, man. Drinking sometimes does that to me.
Oh no, man. Yeah, I know. I took one earlier, but I was really quiet about it, so you didn't even hear it. But I think we covered that matchup. You want to go on to the next one?
I just want to touch on the tight end a little bit, just because New England is ranked 29th against tight ends this year. Their DVOA is at 26.9%, which is no good. They're averaging 9 targets a game to tight ends, but they're only giving up 55 yards a game, which tells me that they're giving up touchdowns to the tight end.
You know, Lance Kendricks is just not my type of guy, and I didn't even rank him because I didn't rank anything except for tight end once.
I didn't rank him either, but I'm saying if you're really strapped to tight end and you need one this week, maybe you're a Jordan Reed owner, maybe that's not a bad streaming option, because he did score a touchdown last week.
Hey, maybe. I don't know.
All right, let's go on to the next game.
All right. We got the 49ers at the Chi-Town Bears with Matt Barkley at the helm. Hold your breath. So I think we can safely say that the start of the week for the Bears is going to be Jordan Howard.
You know, doesn't this just have like low-scoring game written all over it?
All over it.
Well, I mean, I do like Jordan Howard. I'm glad that you brought him up. I don't really have him. Obviously, I have McCoy as my start of the week, but I do have Jordan Howard ranked at number 9. I do think he's going to have a pretty good game against the last rank. They give up the most yards in the league against the run. So
I have him ranked similarly. I have him at number 8, but you know this is a San Francisco defense that has been one of the worst defending the run all year in the league. So Jordan Howard is like, you know, he is the guy there now. They have nothing else to speak of. He's going to get 20 plus carries. So I think that he's a start. I would say that he was my start of the week, but I think I already named that. So
you know what I really like about Howard the most is he's been receiving the ball out of the backfield. Like he's been getting some catches, which is not something that we expected. You know.
It's always nice for PPR settings too, definitely.
Yeah, because I always thought, you know, Jordan Howard was going to be this 2-down thumper. And, you know, I know, remember we had TEP on our show? I'm sorry, TEP. I'm sorry, they're called TEP. TEP Fantasy.
Yeah.
You and both of them are, like, kind of talking down Jordan Howard, thinking that it wasn't going to be his backfield. And I was like, you know, I don't know, man. I could see him getting 200 carries, and yeah, it's starting to come to revelation now. I mean, he's been like the RB1 for that team. I think Carey had 2 carries last week. Langford had 1. He's been getting all the work over there.
Yeah, man. No, you couldn't have been more right on Jordan Howard. And you know, kudos to you, man. That was a great call. And you're definitely right. This is his backfield now. He's the only fantasy relevant
player on that team.
Yeah, really. Obviously, I don't have Matt Barkley ranked. Obviously, I don't have Marquise Wilson.
I do have Matt Barkley ranked, actually.
Oh, really?
I have him at number 16. He's actually one of my streams of the week. I have Kaepernick at number 12. He's my other stream of the week. I think that both of these quarterbacks could have some success in this game. Granted, please watch the weather report. It is in Chicago. I don't know what the weather's like over there. I'm in California. I have no fucking clue. But if it's cold and windy, beware. If it's snowing, beware. But if it's not windy and it's not snowing, I think that both these quarterbacks could have a successful week.
Wow, that's a big vote of confidence. I definitely left Matt Barkley out of my rankings. Very, 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 very far away from my rankings.
I mean, just look what he did last week, though. He had over 300 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. Granted, he did have 2 interceptions. And he gets to play one of the worst defenses in the league.
Yeah, I think that he's a good streaming option, but I haven't.
I do like Kaepernick more, though. So.
Yeah, definitely like Kaepernick more.
I actually think Kaepernick's probably my official stream of the week.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Anyways, getting back on it, obviously don't have Marquise Wilson ranked or Cameron Meredith. So, that being said, I guess Marquise Wilson, I can see him as a wide receiver 3, but anything more than that's kind of a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have Marquise Wilson ranked, but I think at this point, while Alshon Jeffrey is suspended, he is the wide receiver to own. I probably have him in between like 32 to 36 if I had to rank them. And he had 9 targets and he caught 8 of them. He had over 125 yards, and I think he had a touchdown as well.
Yeah, he also dropped a for sure touchdown too, so he could have had an even bigger day than he did have.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, I could see him having a very similar day against San Francisco. I mean, he's definitely, if I had to stream I mean, we don't typically do this, but if I had to stream a wide receiver because of injuries or buys, that would be a guy I'd look at.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely agree that could be a streaming relevant player. However, on the other side of him, Cameron Meredith, just drop him. Don't start him.
Did you drop him?
I did.
All right, I'm glad. I honestly, I was surprised when you made a trade that involved him.
Yeah, well, it was because I was trying to get Ezekiel Elliott, and I was just
Well,
like, you know what, fine.
That's acceptable then. All right. Chicago doesn't really have a tight end anymore. Zach Miller's out for the year, so we can go over to the other side of the ball. Like I was saying, I do have Kaepernick ranked as number 12 this week. He just gets it done on the ground too, and when you get it done on the ground, you don't need to throw for a lot of yards to be relevant. You could.
Exactly the same. I have him at 12.
Yeah, as I say, you could throw for 220, 230 yards, and you could still get like 50 or 60 yards rushing, and you're going to be very relevant in the fantasy world, and that's pretty much what he is.
Yeah, essentially it is. Yeah, he's my quarterback one conversation this week, and he is one of my streams of the week as well. He honestly doesn't really have a whole lot of bad matchups down the stretch, but we'll get into that, in future weeks.
I got into that last show. I know that we recorded it and your voice was not heard, but for the rest of the show, I went over that, and he has 4 good matchups in a row.
Yeah, no, he really does. But as for this week, geez, I completely had a brain fart. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Chicago's kind of abandoned ship. This game could potentially be a higher scoring game than a lot of people think. I tend to think that it's going to be a low scoring game, but I can see it being a high scoring game as well.
Let's just put it this way. Against wide receiver 1s, wide receiver 2s, and other receivers, Chicago gives up over 60 yards against all of them. So that means they're getting beat across the board.
Yeah, pretty much.
That almost, you know what that's telling me? They're pretty much giving up 1,000 yards per receiver, almost.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
That being said, too, you gotta love Carlos Hyde too. His matchup against Chicago this week, especially with Trevathan out now for the rest of the season. I have him ranked as my number 14 running back this week. So
I got him ranked a little bit higher than you. I got him ranked at number 11. I'm kind of surprised that I ranked him higher than you, because I was thinking about ranking him higher, but I knocked him down because Chicago actually has a pretty decent run defense. I believe going into last week they're number 12. I'm not sure what they are now, but I know going into last week they're number 12. So they have a decent run defense, but Carlos Hyde is pretty much all they have. I mean, they don't really have a reliable receiver, so they do rely on him quite a bit.
What are you talking about, Jeremy Curley, baby? No.
No, actually, it was Torrey Smith that scored a touchdown last week.
I know. Welcome back, Torrey Smith.
No, not welcome back because he only had 20 yards.
Yeah, I'm just saying. We actually get to hear his name called again, finally.
Yeah, I think I obviously we're not going to rank either one of the receivers because they're very inconsistent. But I do like McDonald though. I have him ranked this week as my number 10 tight end. With like you said, Trevathan is out for the year. He's done for the year. That opens up the spot for the tight end positions against Chicago, in my opinion.
I didn't rank him, but he's a good streaming option this week, definitely.
Well, I think the main reason why I have him ranked is because, Gates didn't have a single target last week. We don't know if Gronk's going to play. We don't know if Reed's going to play. Fleener's inconsistent. So, yeah, I put him at number 10.
Fuck yeah. I think we pretty much covered this one. What do you think? What do you say we move on?
I am fair. Let's go on.
All right, we got the Chiefs at the Falcons. This could kind of go either way. The Chiefs put in a pretty good performance against Denver, while the Falcons, the Falcons have been so good this year. I mean, I think that the Falcons will pretty much handily have this game, in my opinion.
Well, I was going before last week. I was kind of nervous about starting players against Kansas City, but after last week, I don't know if you have to be scared about Kansas City's defense.
No, you don't. I have said it for countless times, and I have said it until I was blue in the face. This secondary is not as scary as everyone makes out to be. They're like, ooh, Marcus Peters is getting so many picks.
Well, even I said that, Manuel Sanders should have some success against that offense. Or, I'm sorry, against that defense, because their corners are kind of slow. But guess who isn't slow?
Julio Jones.
Yeah, Julio Jones. I have Julio Jones. I have him lower than I normally would have him, though. I have him at number 4, but that's only because I have Beckham at number 1, and I have Evans at number 2. So,
man, you know what? I have Julio, as I was saying, as my number 1 receiver this week. I love him. I love what I saw out of the Denver receivers against the Kansas City secondary last week, and I think that Atlanta's going to do just some real damage to him, especially Julio.
Yeah, I mean, just put it this way, man. Julio leads the league in receptions, in receiving yards. That's all. That's really all you have to say.
That is all you have to say.
But I didn't rank him. But I do think another relevant receiver on Atlanta.
Gabriel.
Yes, I think he's going to take over that number 2 job for Atlanta. He's so fucking fast, dude. He is fucking fast.
Yeah, man. He is very fast. Him and Tyreek Hill have look pretty similar. Like, they have similar game.
But I will say, though, this is just pure speculation. I don't necessarily know if he's going to take over that number 2 job. If I was the coach, he would. Because, I mean, he's just so fucking fast. He complements Julio Jones so well. But, Mohamed Sanu still had 8 targets last week. He had caught all 8 of them, but only for 65 yards.
Who are you liking in this Atlanta backfield, Tevin Coleman or Devontae Freeman?
I think this week it's gonna be Devontae Freeman. I have Devontae Freeman ranked at number 6.
Ranked similarly, I have him at number 8.
Yeah, I mean Kansas City they give up like close to 120 yards a game. They actually do a decent job against receptions out of the backfield. So I still have Tevin Coleman ranked at number 24. So I still think he's a RB2, but I just like Freeman a lot more.
Yeah, I definitely like Freeman a lot more too, and I have Tevin Coleman ranked similarly. He just barely snuck into my RB2 rankings, but an RB2 nonetheless. However, do you see? So obviously, we're ranking Devontae Freeman as an RB1 this week. Do you genuinely see Tevin Coleman being a pretty good flex play this week?
No, Tevin Coleman is absolutely a flex play. Even if, or say you don't own Devontae Freeman and you own Tevin Coleman, you could still start Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
Because I mean, I have him. Like I said, I have Tevin Coleman as an RB2. Like I know, granted, he didn't get a whole lot of work last week, and he didn't do very well when he did get work. I think he had like 6 carries, 8 yards, and a touchdown. But I mean, yeah, he got a touchdown, and I think he'll do better this week. He'll get more work out of the backfield. He'll be a good play.
Yeah, I agree. Anybody else you want to talk about on the Atlanta side of the ball?
No, because they don't have a tight end to speak of.
All right, moving on to the Chiefs, we have Alex Smith, who was vintage Alex Smith against Denver. He did enough to win the game. He didn't commit any turnovers. Vintage Alex Smith. I
mean, I'll say he was half of vintage Alex Smith. Because, granted, he didn't throw the ball very much. He didn't turn it over. But vintage Alex Smith gives rushing yards, and he hasn't done that all year.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Because, I mean, have you noticed that he doesn't run the ball anymore?
No, he doesn't.
I mean, he used to be a guy where he's a QB2. You can rely on him if your quarterback is on a bye. That's no longer the case. Like, he is to be on the waiver wire all year. You should never worry about picking him up. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
How do you feel about the running back position?
Well, I think that Spencer Ware will have some success this week. This is an Atlanta team that's susceptible against the run. With that being said, I actually have Spencer Ware ranked as my number 9 running back this week. So, he's an RB1 for me this week.
I think since week 6, Spencer Ware in standard leagues. I don't know about PPR leagues, but in standard leagues, Spencer Ware hasn't finished higher than RB21.
Goddamn.
It's mostly because he hasn't been scoring the touchdowns lately. I rank Spencer Ware at number 14 because he is playing a weaker defense in Atlanta that does give it up to the running backs. They give it up everywhere. But I got Spencer Ware ranked at number 14. I got him pegged down for 80 yards rushing, 40 yards receiving, so that's a pretty good game.
Yeah, it is.
But still no touchdowns.
But I do agree with you. Yeah, Spencer Ware has been struggling week to week, and a lot of people have asked me about him. Should I still, give him one season? I still think the answer is yes.
Pause. Can you redo that? The toilet was flushing.
Oh yeah. I definitely agree. Spencer Ware, his production has been going down as of late. In fact, as of this whole back half of the season. But I do, and people have asked me, is he still an RB1? And I'm like, yes, he is because of opportunity alone.
I mean, he's not really sharing the ball a whole lot. I know Andy Reid did say that I don't like calling him Charkandrick. Charmander West, he said that could get more work. I highly doubt that happens.
No.
So I do like Ware this week though. He'll get a decent amount of work. He'll get enough work to be an RB2 at least.
Yeah, and I don't even know why I'm really asking you this, but do you have Tyreek Hill ranked?
If I had to rank, I didn't rank him, but if I had to rank him, he'd be somewhere in between 25 to 30.
Yeah, I have him right outside of my RB2 rankings. I kind of molded over, but I didn't end up putting him in there.
I mean, it really depends on what kind of league do you play in. I mean, are you playing in a league where you get points for kick returns and punt returns and stuff like that? Because if so, then he's probably is a wide receiver too.
Yeah.
But I mean, in typical leagues, he's more of like a wide receiver 3. So I got him ranked as such.
Just doesn't see enough volume, man.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. They play in a low volume offense where they're going to run the ball more often than not. And Jeremy Maclin should be coming back. It looks like he's going to come back this week. So I got him ranked as an RB3 or a wide receiver 3. So I mean, it's going to push Tyreek Hill down even more. You know what I mean?
What about Travis Kelce, man? That guy's been an absolute monster lately. And
I'll let you go first. Where do you have him ranked?
I have him at number 3.
Okay, I got him a spot higher. I have him at number 2. Was it like back-to-back weeks to 100 yards now?
Yeah, he's been on a tear lately. I really wish he would score a touchdown because that would really make it all worthwhile.
Well, that's pretty hard with Alex Smith at the helm.
Yeah, no, it is. I wish he was in another offense. He would be such a dynamic playmaker.
I mean, could you imagine him in a good? Can you imagine him in like say the Pittsburgh offense?
Oh my God, yeah, no, it would be unreal.
Because I mean, don't get me wrong, the Darius Green, he's not bad, but he's not Travis Kelce talent.
No, Travis Kelce, man, that dude he's fast for a tight end. He's big. He's a matchup nightmare. I love him.
In the past 2 weeks, Travis Kelce has 24 targets with 15 receptions, 209 yards, but he has not seen that touchdown.
No, that's the one thing that's bringing his game down.
I know, but maybe he can turn it around this week. We'll see. Atlanta's pretty bad against tight ends.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that being said, do you have anybody else you want to talk about on the Chiefs? I think we're pretty much good.
Chris Conley and Albert Wilson. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next matchup.
All right. We have the Eagles at the Bengals, and the Bengals are done, abandoned ship. But the Eagles, they're not far behind. I think they will definitely finish this year being the basement team in the NFC West. Or, no, East, I'm sorry. The NFC East. I had a complete brain fart. I don't know. Let's kick this off. Let's start with the Eagles. Carson Wentz, I did not rank him this week.
I didn't rank him either. I said I didn't rank him either.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I heard you muffle around. And, as far as the receivers go, I think if, I ranked him as if he was going to play. But Jordan Matthews, I have him as a wide receiver 2 this week. Hold on, I'm still looking. Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't even rank him.
Yeah, I didn't rank him either.
Yeah, motherfucker. I really don't have anybody ranked from the Eagles. That's crazy. I didn't realize that.
The only guy I did rank, and I will say this, I did not feel comfortable ranking Zachary Ertz, but I ranked him number 6, and he is playing the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati has not been very good against tight ends, and I know. Even in a good matchup last week, Ertz did not perform. But Cincinnati, they're giving up 67.6 yards a game to tight ends, almost 8 targets a game, and they're 25th against tight ends.
Yeah.
With that being said, that does not guarantee that Ertz is going to have a good game.
Yeah, I just checked it. I do have Ertz ranked though. I have him right inside the top 10 at number 10. So.
Okay.
There you go.
Jordan Matthews, even if he plays, he's going to be limited. So I just felt like I could not rank him as a wide receiver 2. Wentz, he's looking like a rookie, so I couldn't rank him. Actually, you know what? I did rank one of the running backs. I did rank Darren Sproles. I got Darren Sproles ranked number 17. And that's not because he's going to run the ball very well. It's because I feel like he's going to get a decent amount of reception. I could see him getting like 6 catches. And if he gets like 6 catches and 6 rushes, I think that's good enough in PPR leagues to get him ranked as an RB2.
Yeah.
With that being said, though, you're not trusting Smallwood. Ryan Matthews, I think he's going to miss another week. Barner only got like 2 carries. It's not a good situation. It really isn't.
No, it really isn't. Don't start any running backs from the Eagles. Even for me, don't even start Sproles. Okay, you want to shift to the other side of the ball then?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Okay, cool. Well, let's go to the other side of the ball. We got the Bengals. Andy Dalton is there. He's actually a guy that I kind of have a partial Blue Falcons stamp on. He had a pretty not so good week last week.
He wasn't good the week before that either.
Yeah. It's just when he doesn't have his playmakers, it definitely shows.
I mean, did he make your rankings?
Let me check real quick. But I would have to say no. He fell just shy. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah. No. He's not in my rankings.
He didn't make my rankings either. Actually, in the past month, in the past month and 1 week, because they had a bye week 9. In the past 4 games, he has 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and he's fallen under 250 yards twice. So he has not been very good the past month. Over a month, he hasn't been good, and that is even going against Washington. And he had 280 yards and a touchdown against Washington with the interception. So he hasn't been good in a while, man. He started off pretty decently, but he's been really falling off a cliff lately.
Yeah, that's what happens when your top playmaker goes out, and then your one of your other top playmakers goes out. The only real guy I actually have ranked on this team is Jeremy Hill. Well, no, I take that back, and Tyler Eifert. But Jeremy Hill, I have him inside as an RB2. I have him at 20.
I have him at 20 as well. Good job.
Oh, nice. High five.
Yeah. Air 5.
Air 5, yeah, from long distance. A couple states away. Jeremy Hill, though, I think that I could see this being a decent game for him. He always gets better when the weather gets colder, and Philadelphia kind of hit or miss against the run this year.
I mean, I thought he was going to have a better game than what he did the last game, but it was against a tough matchup. This is another tough matchup for him. It really comes down to how many carries is he going to get, because the more carries he gets, I think the more wear out that defense will get.
Yeah, agreed on that one, too. It's going to be very volume dependent, so I guess we'll see with him. Tyler Boyd, I think he's an okay flex play. I don't have him ranked, obviously, but I think if you do have an open flex position and you're dealing with an injury, I think that you can maybe plug him in there.
I got Tyler Boyd as a wide receiver 3 this week. I didn't rank him in my wide receiver 2s, but I got him ranked like probably in between 30 to 36. I think if you're in a crunch and you need to start someone at the flex position, that's not a bad option. It really isn't.
No, it definitely isn't a bad option.
I mean, I think what did he do last week?
I can't even remember, honestly.
I mean, I know it wasn't bad. Actually, I got it right here. He had 5 catches, 62 yards off 9 targets. He actually has 17 targets the past 2 weeks with a touchdown. So it's not too bad for a wide receiver 3.
That's not too bad at all, and I'll take it.
Definitely better than LaFell.
yeah, definitely better than LaFell, who lost everything. Tyler Eifert in the tight end position, I actually have him at number 5 this week. I think that he's really Andy Dalton's only reliable guy from the old guard, so I think that he's going to try to funnel in the ball.
Yeah, I have Eifert a little bit lower than you. I got Tyler Eifert ranked at number 9, and that's simply to do with the fact that, Philadelphia has been really good against the tight end. They're number 3 against tight ends this year. They're only giving up 30 yards a game to tight ends and less than 5 targets a game. Their DVOA is at negative 38.3%, which is obviously one of the best in the league because they're ranked at number 3. So they've been really tough against tight ends. And as you can see from last week, they haven't really they don't really target Eifert in a consistent amount of times for him to be consistent from week to week. Yeah. He's more of a guy where he'll score a touchdown, he'll score it often, but when he doesn't score a touchdown, he doesn't do shit for you.
Yeah, that's very true. All right, man. Sorry to speed it up on you, but I think that we covered everything.
No, we did. We're ready to move on.
All right, cool. We got the Bucks at the Chargers. This is another game that could kind of go either way. It's safe to say the Chargers will finish in the basement of the AFC West this year. But you gotta like what you're seeing out of that defense, though. So there's that. But I think that Melvin Gordon has a really nice matchup this week.
I mean, would you agree that this is probably one of the best divisions in all of football?
Yeah, the AFC West, man, it's made one hell of a comeback. I think that you can't argue when you have 3 teams set to make the playoffs from that division this year.
I mean, aren't the Chargers 5-5 and they're in last place?
Yeah. No, Denver, Kansas City, and Oakland all have winning records. They have all Denver is 7-4, and they're in 3rd place in division. Isn't that crazy?
That's what I'm saying. That is the best division in all of football. I don't care what the fuck you guys have to say. You guys can suck my skinny white dick.
I would have to agree with that.
you have to agree you would suck my skinny white dick?
I don't want to suck your skinny white dick. That's with chopsticks. Anyways, as far as this goes, I like Phillip Rivers this week. He's one of my starts of the week. I have him at number 11, right inside my quarterback ones. But Tampa Bay hasn't been the best against opposing quarterbacks this year. So I am also assuming that Tyrell Williams will play this year and he will be somewhat healthy. So if he has all his targets there, and let's not even talk about Travis Benjamin because he's not going to make a damn difference either way. Inman's been pretty good too.
I was gonna rank Phillip Rivers as my number 8 quarterback, but then upon reading the news that it's an undisclosed injury for Tyrell Williams, we don't know how serious his shoulder injury is. They say it's a labrum injury, and I'm like, well, if it's a labrum injury, it's probably torn,
Yeah.
And if it's torn, that's no good. I mean,
yeah, that's pretty specific to be for an injury.
For a labrum to be torn, what that's telling me is you're not going to be able to reach for a ball and make those catches. If the ball's thrown high, he's not making the catch. So that's not good. So that kind of limits Tyrell Williams. Travis Benjamin, he's still kind of bummed out with the knee. He only had 2 targets last week. Dontrell Inman had a good game, but he's just an average guy. So to me, this is telling me is their 2 top options are hurt right now, and that's gonna hurt. I think it's gonna hurt Phillip Rivers. I had Phillip Rivers ranked number 8. I now have him ranked at number 11, just like you. I have him ranked at number 11. I still think there's enough firepower in that team for them to do some damage against Tampa Bay, because Tampa Bay doesn't really have a good defense. I was really, really fucking surprised that Seattle only scored 5 points against them. That was probably the surprise of the week for me.
Yeah, that was definitely the surprise of everybody's week, including Seahawks fans. I love seeing the look in their shitty ass faces because I hate the Seahawks. Anyways, Melvin Gordon, I think, also has a nice matchup this week. I know Tampa Bay started out the season really good against the run. They have since fallen off. He's actually my number 4 running back this week.
We are on a similar page. I have Melvin Gordon ranked at number 4 as well. He has been a touchdown machine. Tampa Bay, they started off pretty good against running backs, but they've started to fall off as of recent weeks. It's kind of crazy to think I have Melvin Gordon ranked in front of Ezekiel Elliott.
I know. I was saying the same thing when I did my rankings. I was like, wow. All right, then.
I was just thinking about the opportunities that this guy could have, especially with both of those wide receivers kind of banged up. That's going to give him some more opportunities, don't you think?
Yeah, he's proven when the team has confidence and they end up blocking for him, he'll have a monster game. So, and I think that could definitely happen for him.
Do you have Tyrell Williams marked down as as a wide receiver 2 this week?
I do nominally, but yeah, I want to definitely find out more. He's kind of an asterisk at this point, but I have him ranked exactly at number 17.
Well,
Oh, no, I'm sorry, 19. I was looking at it wrong.
you have him ranked a lot higher than I do. I don't have him ranked in my top 24 just because of that injury. Although, it wouldn't surprise me if he does play. He could definitely do damage against that defense. But I just feel like he's going to be limited a little bit, and I have him. If I had to rank him, I know I've said this a couple times already in the show. I'd probably have to rank him somewhere in between 30 to 36. I got him more of as a wide receiver 3 this week.
Yeah, okay, understandable. Let's shift to the other side of the ball, yeah.
And that has a lot to. That's saying a lot because he was a guy I pegged out during the preseason as a guy that could break out this season. I was saying this especially for dynasty leagues. I was like, man, this could be a really good guy, and it ended up coming true. And I picked him off the waiver wire for my redraft league, and there's some weeks I started him, some weeks I don't. But for me to say that I don't really trust him this week, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, no, he's been Mr. Reliable for sure. Antonio Gates, I think that he'll rebound in a big way. I have him personally ranked right inside my wide receiver 1s at number 12. I like Hunter Henry. I get what he represents, but he's still a rookie at best. And if you're playing him, hoping for something, it's going to be a touchdown. I like Antonio Gates more. Philip Rivers and him have a rapport, and I really do think he'll rebound this week.
You said you got him ranked at number 12?
Yeah.
Okay, I tend to agree with you there. Tampa Bay has actually been one of the better teams against tight ends. They have a DVOA of negative 21.7. In case you forgot, on the defensive side of the ball, a negative DVOA is a good thing. A DVOA is a defensive variance against average. They're number 5 against tight ends this year. So, I do think that Gates has he has a little bit of obviously he's going to have a bounce back because he didn't get a fucking target last week. But I don't see him having a complete bounce back week. I have him at number 11. I could see him having like a low number of yardage, low receptions. But I can see him getting a touchdown, and here's why. He's very close to the record for most touchdowns for tight ends. I think San Diego is going to really push to get him that. I think he's only like 3 or 4 away from that record. And I think Philip Rivers and company, they're going to really try to get him that ball.
Yeah, I think so too. That's part of the reason why I think they're going to funnel the ball. And I see him. He's got to be a tight end one this week, like no matter what.
I mean, he's obviously not going to get shut out again.
No, I mean that would take an act of God.
All right, let's go over to the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
How do you? I know. Jameis Wilson. Jameis Winston. I know he's your boy. How do you see him doing this week?
Well, San Diego, man, they've been a turnover machine in the last 4 weeks. They have 11 turnovers, which a lot of you probably already know by now. But they're a very opportunistic defense. And
do you think that makes them a streamable defense this week?
I absolutely think so. And I do love Jameis. I know he's had some regression this year. But, I see some turnovers happening for Jameis this week. I love that Joey Bosa and that pass rush has done a great job. Really put a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. And Jameis Winston isn't one of those quarterbacks that does better under pressure. He kind of crumples under it. So,
do you think that he's been? Do you think Bosa has been pretty impressive as a rookie?
I would have to say so. In the time that we've seen him, ever since that he finally got signed and started, he's been pretty damn good.
Well, in the past 5 games, Jameis Winston has had 9 touchdowns for 2 interceptions. He's been held under 200 yards one time, and that was against Oakland's defense out of all teams. He really didn't do all that bad against Seattle. He went against tough Seattle defense. He threw for 220 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, both of them to Mike Evans. But he had that interception late in the game.
Yeah.
But he gets to play a much easier defense against San Diego. I think he could have some success in this one. I actually have Jameis Winston ranked as number 9 this week. Really, the big thing is can Tampa Bay's defense protect him? Because if they can't, then it could be a rough showing.
Yeah, I have him outside of my quarterback 1 rankings, but I have him at number 13. He seems to be a good play for me this week, but at the same time, this is a very, very better San Diego defense than we've seen at the start of the season.
Okay. How do you feel about the Doug Martin going against San Diego? I mean, San Diego itself hasn't really been that bad against the run, but they've been giving up rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, no, I have him ranked at my oh shit, where is he? I literally just okay, here we go. I have him right outside of my RB1 rankings at number 13. He's been getting the volume, but he hasn't really done a completely great job, vintage Doug Martin esque. So I think this matchup will be a pretty good one for him to kind of show his stuff, and I do think that he'll have a decent enough game.
Well, the good thing that you've seen out of Doug Martin is the past 2 weeks he has 47 carries, so he's definitely getting the volume. He hasn't found the end zone yet since he came. I'm sorry. He found the end zone one time in the first game back, but he hasn't found the end zone since then. But this is a San Diego defense where they give up a lot of rushing touchdowns, so I could definitely see him finding the end zone this week.
It could definitely happen. I am in agreement.
Have you heard anything about Charles Sims coming back yet? I mean, I've heard that he could come back soon, but have you heard about him practicing at all or anything like that?
I heard he could get activated from IR soon, but other than that, I haven't really heard anything.
Okay, I was just wondering, just get your take on it a little bit. If we go over to receivers, I mean, I don't know how high you are on Mike Evans, but I'm still very high on him. I have Mike Evans as my number 2 wide receiver this week.
I'm very high on Mike Evans too. He's honestly, to me, he's nearly in the class of like Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, and Julio. He's nearly there.
Well, put it this way. Mike Evans has more receiving yards than Antonio Brown.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, I have him as my number 4 receiver this week. San Diego, they've been piling up the turnovers, but you can't stop the raging fire that is Mike Evans.
He went against Seattle and he got both the touchdowns.
In the first quarter, I was like, oh my god, I thought he was going to have an even bigger game.
I thought he was about to show. He already showed up since Seattle in that first quarter. But I thought, man, he's about to rack up so many yards. Granted, he still had a 100-yard game. Don't get me wrong, but I thought he was about to be out to an amazing game.
Yeah, he still had an amazing game, but it could have been even more so amazing.
But just put it this way: 3 out of the last 4 games, he's had 100 yards, and he's gotten 4 touchdowns in that span.
Yeah.
I mean, even against, I know Atlanta's not a good defense at all, but he had 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, that's pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, it is. All right. You ready to go on to the next one?
Well, I got Cameron. I know Cameron Brate. He plays San Diego, obviously, but they got a pretty good tight end defense. But just because of the slimness in that position, I have Cameron Brate ranked at number 8. Even against Seattle, he had like 4 for 40-something yards, and he had a touchdown that got taken away from him. So I still feel like he's a viable option against San Diego.
Yeah, I think that he's definitely a viable option too. I have him ranked right at number 11.
All right, now we're ready to go on to the next position.
All right,
Next game.
We got the Redskins at the Cardinals, whose playoff hopes are very much not alive anymore. I would have to say that my money's on the Redskins in this game.
I mean, you really can't trust the Arizona Cardinals, can you?
No, you can't.
I'm trying to. If we're looking on Bovada, Arizona is actually favored in this game by 2.5 points. They are at home. I think Vegas is saying this is going to be a high-scoring game. It's at 49.5. If I'm betting money on this game, I'm taking Washington all the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I am too. Yeah,
Like,
this is a game where.
Can we make a pact together?
Yeah.
Let's both bet $25 on this game for Washington. Do you feel comfortable doing that? I do.
I do. It's just that I got kind of. You know what? Yeah, I'll put money on it.
I mean, it's $25. You're probably making. It says the spread is 2.5 on this game. It's saying that you're breaking even, which means if you bet $25, you're making $25. Why not?
Why not? Double your money.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
I mean, it's so to me. I don't know about you, but to me, it's so clear that Washington's going to win this game. Arizona has not proved to me that they can do anything offensively. I mean, Carson Palmer's having a terrible year. Outside of Larry Fitzgerald, none of the receivers are doing anything. Obviously, I do think that Arizona will shut down Washington's running game, but I do think that Kirk Cousins will do enough to win this game for them.
Yeah, I do agree. Kirk Cousins, I actually have him ranked pretty high as my quarterbacks go this week. He is my number 9 quarterback this week, and for very good reason. I know that Arizona presents a tough challenge for quarterbacks, but he's been so disciplined and so poised, and he's been making all the right throws. Hasn't been turning the ball over too much. I mean, I just love what I see out of the kid.
I mean, I'm a little bit lower on you than Kirk Cousins, but I got Kirk Cousins ranked just outside my QB1s. But I could see myself being dead wrong on this one.
Yeah,
I got him ranked number 13.
It's a tough matchup.
I could like I said though, I could definitely see myself being wrong. I could see him finishing in front of. Finishing in front of Jameson Winston, Russell Wilson, even Derek Carr. So I could definitely see him finishing higher than what I have him ranked as. But Arizona's been pretty good on defense. It's been their offense has been the problem.
Yeah, it really has. They can't put up points, and their defense gets hung out to dry. But then again, who do you think is viable on this team with Jordan Reed out? Obviously Vernon Davis. He's not a recommended start because Arizona's a good team against the tight end.
Yeah, I would not recommend you even picking him up. Maybe if you want to pick him up, if you think that Jordan Reed is going to miss multiple weeks, then maybe you can pick up Vernon Davis. But other than that, you're not picking up Vernon Davis to start him this week because Arizona's number 1 against tight ends. They haven't given up a touchdown all year, so you're not starting Vernon Davis.
No. Anyways, you see, I obviously think Clam Chowder should be a start. But what about Djax? Where do you see him at?
Well, I have Clam Chowder ranked as my number 24 wide receiver, so he's definitely startable. Because I don't think that Patrick Peterson's going to follow him. I think Patrick Peterson's going to be on Deshaun Jackson. With that being said, I don't see Deshaun Jackson doing a whole lot. I think he's going to get shut down.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because I mean, Deshaun Jackson, he plays on the outside. He's the outside receiver. He tries to do that deep shit, and I see Patrick Peterson shadowing him.
Yeah, no, I see it too. Get the PP treatment.
And also, I did not rank Jordan Reed because I don't know if he's gonna play or not. Even if I'll tell you right now, if Jordan Reed is to play, I probably have him ranked like 10, 11, or 12. I don't feel confident in him.
I don't either. We'll just move on from that.
All right.
As far as running backs go, I think Rob Zombie Kelly, I think that, as you've coined him, I think that he can safely be started in all formats. I have him safely as an RB2. Where do you see him as?
I think that if I had to rank, I didn't rank him, but if I did have to rank him, he'd be just outside my top RB2s, probably in between like 25 to 30. I mean, he's not a terrible play, but I could see him getting only like 50 to 60 yards.
Okay, that's fair.
Just because Arizona's not bad against the run. I mean, there's some games where if they go against explosive type of running backs, I can see them giving up a little bit more yards. But Rob Kelly, he's not that type of running back. He's not an explosive type of running back. He's a guy that he'll get you yards every time he touches the ball. But he's not going to necessarily get you yards, like a lot of yards every time he touches the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he'll a home run hit every time he touches the ball.
Like he's a guy that will at least give you 2 to 3 yards every time he gets the ball because he falls forward.
Yeah, true. All right, well let's move on to the other side of the ball. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, so we got the Arizona Cardinals. Carson Palmer's been struggling. I don't even really want to talk about these Arizona receivers because they just make me sick. I've been hearing a lot of talk about Jermaine Grisham. There's just not enough volume to sustain him. Don't pick him up. It's not going to happen. I know he hit the end zone last week. It's not going to happen again.
Well, let's just put it this way. He hasn't done a goddamn thing all year. Why would he start now?
He hasn't done anything since he's been in Cincinnati. Like, just don't do it to yourself.
He hasn't done anything since his rookie year.
Pretty much, yes. Okay, so moving on. I've heard rumblings and I think it's just so stupid. Like,
yeah, it's really dumb. It's really dumb.
Yeah.
We don't need to speak on it anymore.
Don't touch him. Anyways, as far as the rest of the receivers go, John Brown, don't start him. Leave him on the waiver wire. J.J. Nelson, don't do it. Michael Floyd.
Actually, John Brown actually has a hamstring injury. Why would you even think about him?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just covering all the bases. Michael Floyd, it's Michael Floyd. Don't touch him.
With the hamstring injury, you're still not starting Michael Floyd.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm just saying. Anyhow,
Where do you have Larry Fitzgerald?
Larry Fitzgerald. Oh shit! I nearly forgot about him.
I'm probably higher on him than you are.
That's how forgettable this offense is. I forget about where that Larry Fitzgerald's even on this team. Let's see. I have Larry Fitzgerald at number 12.
So yeah, I got him a little bit higher than you do. I have Larry Fitzgerald all the way up to number 6. I think he's heavily targeted. Washington has not been good against wide receiver ones all year. They're giving up 88 yards a game to wide receiver ones and almost 10 targets a game. So I think with Larry Fitzgerald's going to get a heavy workload against this team. And, I think he's going to be pretty successful against them.
He's the only one that's proven true so far, so why not?
But as far as the rest of the team, I don't have Carson Palmer ranked.
No, I don't either. And
It's out of 20 quarterbacks. I don't have him in the top 20.
Yeah, David Johnson's my number 2 running back this week.
Same here.
Yeah, so the only one I have higher this week is Le'Veon Bell, so that gives you kind of a baseline.
All right, I just out of curiosity, I want to know, why do you have David Johnson over Le'Veon Bell? Because I have Le'Veon Bell ranked below David Johnson.
Oh, no, why do I have Bell over Johnson?
No, I'm saying, why do you have Johnson over Bell?
No, I have Johnson below Bell.
Yeah, so why do you have Johnson? Oh, you have Johnson below Bell.
Yeah, I have Bell as my number 1 this week.
Okay, I have Bell as my number 3 and Johnson as my number 2.
Okay.
So I'm saying, why do you have Johnson over Bell?
No, I don't. I have Bell as my number 1 and Johnson.
Oh, okay. I thought you had. I'm sorry. I thought you had it reversed.
Oh, no. Yeah, okay. Sorry for the confusion.
Okay, so you have Johnson as your number 1.
No, Johnson's my number 2.
Well, who do you have as your number 1?
But I said Bell. Bell is my only one I have ranked.
Yeah, that's what I was asking you. Because I have Johnson over Bell.
Yeah, you said, why do I have Johnson over Bell? I have Bell over Johnson.
Oh, okay. Well, why do you have Johnson over Bell? I'm sorry, why do you have Bell over Johnson
Oh
then?
my God. Okay, I have Bell over Johnson, just strictly because of how much of a tear Le'Veon Bell's been on lately. Even the New York Giants' run defense doesn't scare me with him. He's pretty much matchup proof at this point. David Johnson, though, I love his matchup. I love that, but that finger injury that he had is kind of concerning me a little bit. I think I'm just going to be on the safe side and rank Bell higher because he's fully healthy.
I have Johnson ranked over Bell. I have Johnson as my number 2 running back overall. I told you earlier I have McCoy as ranked number 1. I just think he's going to fucking tear Oakland up. But I have Le'Veon Bell ranked at number 3. I just think that Washington's their defense is no good, I got David Johnson getting to 150 total yards. Probably he's very similar to the Sean McCoy in my opinion. I just think that maybe McCoy gets a little bit more yards than him. But yeah, David Johnson's my number 2 running back overall.
Nice. Well, I think we pretty much covered David Johnson then. So, anybody else you want to bring up?
Not on Arizona.
All right. Well, let's move right along then. We have the Panthers at the Seahawks coming off of a dreadful performance where they only put up 5 points last week.
How does that make you feel, by the way?
I think it makes me feel great because I hate the Seahawks.
No, I'm saying, like, in terms of fantasy football, like, you weren't, I know you weren't expecting Seattle to only score 5 points.
No, I wasn't. I was not only expecting Seattle to win, I was expecting them to win it handily.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly, I predicted the score to be 31-14. Obviously, it was nothing close to that.
Yeah, I think that Seattle, they're really struggling. That offensive line has not been good, and
Jared McCoy took over that show.
yeah, Rawls failed to be the guy that Pete Carroll thought he was going to be coming back from injury, and it is what it is.
Where do you have Russell Wilson ranked at quarterback this week?
You know what? It's I am really low on him. I am very low on him.
How low are you on him? Because I'm low on him too.
I am at 13.
Okay, you're lower than him than I am then. Why are you ranked 13 on him?
I just fucking hate him. I hate this offensive line. It's not just because I hate Russell Wilson. I really actually don't hate the guy. I hate this team. I hate the team he plays for. But I think that the biggest thing with him is this offensive line has given enough time to develop plays, and he can't. He has been hobbled nearly all year, and he just hasn't been dynamic. He hasn't made quick decisions like he usually does. I think luck had a lot to do with it in the past.
Well, I do agree that, I don't think he has as good of a week, but I will say that he has looked like he's healthy. But with that being said, I have him ranked at number 9, and that's just because, he is coming off a down week, but, Carolina has been beatable in the passing game.
Yeah, I have.
But I have him ranked at number 9 because, really, besides Baldwin, he has Jeremy Graham, but I'm a little bit concerned about the offensive line because Carolina has been able to produce a lot of sacks this year.
Yeah, no, they have, yeah. I'm sorry.
I think going into last week they had 36.
Yeah, no, you would probably be right. I'm not looking at it right now, but yeah, and in the passing game has struggled too. I think, yeah, Doug Baldwin, I have him just barely inside my wide receiver 1 conversation at number 12. I can't really make heads or tails of this offense. I want to say that last week was an outlier, but Seattle really doesn't look that good. I think that they're a team that could go to the playoffs and be one and done.
All right, well, think about before they played Tampa Bay. The last 2 weeks before they played Tampa Bay, they were pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But before those last 2 weeks, they weren't really that good.
No, they weren't.
So, they had a couple good weeks. Whoop-de-fucking-do. They played Tampa Bay, who's not a good defense. They didn't do very good. I'm really going to be looking very closely at these next 4 weeks. And to me, these next 4 weeks are really going to tell me how good they're going to do in the playoffs.
It's really sad that Arizona hasn't stepped up because they have no challenge to not win the division.
Oh, they're going to win the division. I'm not worried about that. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be the 2 or 3 seed, to be honest.
Yeah.
But what my real concern is their offense good enough to overtake Dallas? Do you think that Seattle can beat Dallas?
Not with their offensive line the way it looks.
Well, Dallas's defensive line hasn't been very good either. So, they're That's why I'm asking the question. Like Dallas doesn't really have a good defensive line, but Seattle doesn't really have a good offensive line. I guess the real question is, how good is Seattle's defensive line going to do against Dallas's offensive line?
I mean, I really don't know, man.
To be honest, I don't know if there's a single defensive line that can do good against Dallas's offensive line.
Yeah,
I think Dallas is pretty much guaranteed a conference title game. I'm not gonna say they're gonna win the conference title, but I think they'll make it to the conference title game.
yeah. Let's shift back on topic, man. We're getting a little bit off topic.
I'm sorry. I'm looking forward.
I am too. I like the NFC playoff picture too.
I mean, because there's really no guaranteed team in the NFC.
No, there really isn't. Yeah, it's very, very, very open.
Let's go on to the next game. Yeah, I mean, well, Jimmy Graham. I'm sorry, we didn't cover Jimmy Graham.
No, we didn't. Jimmy Graham, I actually have him ranked pretty damn high. I have him at my number 3 position. No, I'm sorry, not number 3, number 4.
I got him ranked number 1.
Wow, holy shit.
Carolina's not been good against tight ends. I just think that he's going to have a better game than Baldwin, you know.
Yeah.
Carolina, they are number 20 against tight ends. They're actually they're not very much better against wide receiver ones. They're getting over 80 yards against wide receiver ones, 65 yards against tight ends. But, I think that, Jimmy Graham, he's been kind of quiet lately, right? It's time for him to come out of his shell.
Like a turtle.
Like a turtle, yeah?
All right, well, I think we've successfully covered him. Carolina side of the ball, what do you think?
I just don't think Carolina's defense is that good. I'm sorry. I have to say that. Carolina, they are number 23 against wide receiver ones. That's what Doug Baldwin is. I think Doug Baldwin could get something like 7 yards and a touchdown.
It could happen. I just think that you're way higher on Seattle than I am.
I got Doug Baldwin ranked number 9.
Oh, okay. Well, I already told you what I ranked him as, but...
No, I don't remember.
I think that Cam Newton could have a bust this week.
I'm fucked up right now, man. I told you, I got Doug Baldwin. I still have him ranked at number 9. Seattle is giving up over 87 yards against wide receiver ones.
You mean Carolina?
Oh, well, Carolina's giving up 80 yards against wide receiver ones, so.
Well, shit. All right, so let's talk about Carolina. Let's get through them real quick.
Let's do it.
All right, so Cam Newton, I am not expecting big things from him this week. He is at my number 14 quarterback this week. It's a tough matchup for him, and it doesn't get any easier.
I got Cam Newton as my Blue Falcon of the week. I have Cam Newton as my number 20 quarterback of the week, actually. I got players like Dak Prescott. I even have Fitzpatrick over him, Tyrod Taylor, and Matt Barkley, and Carson Palmer all over him.
Jesus. Okay. Wow, you're really low on him.
Well, I just, what I feel like? Cam Newton does not do very good against pressure. And I feel like that's something that Seattle could do really good against, So, I'm not expecting a whole lot out of Cam Newton.
Yeah, neither am I.
Where do you have Jonathan Stewart? Do you have him as an RB2?
Yes, I do. I have him as an RB2. He is my... I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, number 17.
He did not make my top 24.
Wow. He had a decent week last week.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was against a team that wasn't as good against stopping the run. You know, he had like 91 yards, but I against Seattle, I could see him getting like 60 yards, no touchdowns, and that to me that does not qualify you as an RB2.
Very true. He could definitely finish there. I agree. I tend to agree. This is a tough defense, no matter how you slice it. Who do you like from the passing game? I think Kelvin Benjamin is not a recommended start for me. I'm pretty low on him this week.
I mean, I'm not very high on Calvin Benjamin. I mean, you got to think in the past 2 weeks combined, he only has 4 catches.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm recommending him as a wide receiver 21, but I'm not convinced that he'll finish there.
Wow. Yeah, no, I don't even have him ranked that high. I have him outside of my top 24.
And you know, I can't argue against that. I mean, I could very well see him finishing outside of that. So
Yeah.
I can't disagree with that at all.
I've heard the hype train going on about Ted Ginn. What do you think?
Wide receiver 4.
Yeah, easily. So I didn't rank him, and I haven't ranked anybody else. Greg Olsen, where do you see him? Because he's been the big conundrum this year.
Well, you know, the first 6 weeks he was in the side of the top 10, but since then he has not finished. He only finished outside the top, or he's only finished inside the top 10 one time. Based off of name alone, I have him ranked at number 5. If you're looking at the Seattle defense, you got them ranked as the number 18 team against tight ends. They're giving up 51 yards a game, which is telling me they're giving up touchdowns. They're giving up over 7.5 targets a game. So I got Greg Olsen ranked at number 5. It would not surprise me if he finished outside of that.
Yeah, agreed. I have him at number 6 off of name alone again, but yeah, we'll see. It kind of depends on how he's being utilized. This is a game where it could kind of go his direction, so don't be surprised if this is a game that he ends up bouncing back on.
Did you have Jimmy Graham ranked in this game?
Yeah, I do. I said I had him at number 2.
Okay, I just didn't remember. I said I had him ranked at number 1. So we're pretty close on that one. Let's go on to the next matchup, yeah?
All right, last one. We have our Monday night game. It is the Colts at the Jets. Shit against shit. Mono e mono. Andrew Luck sounds like he's going to play. No problem this week.
It does sound like he's going to return off a concussion.
Off a concussion.
Uh,
Off of his Kirk Cousins that he got. Did I even put him in?
You had to have.
I was about to say I had to have. Yeah, I put him at. He is my number 8 quarterback this week, Andrew Luck. The Jets, like you said, they are very prone to the deep ball. This is a game where T.Y. Hilton could be in full form, assuming he is good to go. Other than that, we know Dante Moncrief. He does his usual thing, catches a touchdown in a game. We get it.
All right. I got Andrew Luck ranked one spot higher than you. I have him ranked at number 7. I do think that he has a fine game against the Jets. He's been pretty decent as of late. I like T.Y. Hilton even more. I got him ranked as my. Where am I at here? I got him ranked as my number 5 wide receiver. So obviously, I like T.Y. Hilton getting a nice long reception. How do you feel about Moncrief though?
He hasn't been getting the yards, but he gets the touchdowns. I think that he's definitely touchdown dependent at this point. You can pretty much label him as that. That's what he is.
Well, even last week, I was telling somebody that I preferred Andre Hopkins over Deontay Moncrief because, I said Moncrief is touchdown dependent. I could see Hopkins getting a touchdown this week, but obviously I was wrong. Hopkins did not get a touchdown, and Moncrief did.
Yep.
So, unless he stops, I'm sorry, unless he stops getting touchdowns, what more can you expect out of him,
Yeah, no, I have T.Y. Hilton ranked pretty high too. I have him as my my number 7 this week. Or no, I'm sorry. No, I have him as number 6.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily ranking, I'm not necessarily ranking Hilton on what I think is gonna happen. I'm thinking, I ranked him as what I think could happen. The Jets give up a lot of long touchdowns. Hilton is one of those guys that gets stretched the field. I have him ranked number 5 because of that.
I have the same mentality with him, and that's exactly why. He can stretch the field. Burnable secondary is all an equation for success.
I even rank Moncrief at number 13 because they're both fast. They're both fast.
No, they are. Yeah, and then Dante Moncrief, I have him as a wide receiver 2 at number 20. I also think that as long as he continues to score touchdowns, you gotta if you have him on your team, you should probably plug him in as that third receiver.
Your ranking's probably more fair than my ranking. I was ranking him like Moncrief was going to score a long touchdown. You're ranking him more as like he's going to get like 50 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what I did. I kind of ranked it as, well, he could get this, but he could also do this. So.
All right, before we jump into running backs and tight ends, let me take a pee.
All right.
All right, so again, for running backs, where do you have Frank Gore? Frankie Gore.
I have him as my number 22 running back, so he's in my running back 2 camp.
Just because of how good the Jets are against running backs, I did not have Frank Gore as a RB2 again, for this matchup. I know he's been a pleasant surprise this year for running backs, but I just did not have it in my heart to rank him as an RB2.
Wow, man, you're
I'm cold-hearted.
You're a cold, heartless person. Frank Gore lives matters. Anyways,
They deserve to be ran over.
I think you gotta rank him as of like what he could do, not of like what you think he will do, because he started the season like red hot. He kind of fell off a little bit, but and the Jets have been good against the run, but they've also proven against decent running backs that they could be susceptible. So, but you are right. This could go either way.
The Jets defense has actually been pretty good. I know they've been a little bit weak against the pass defense, but outside of that, they've been pretty good. So I felt it really hard in my heart to rank Frank Gore in this kind of matchup.
Well, I'll take that. We don't even need to talk about the tight ends on Indianapolis. So
no, we don't. So let's go. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go on to the Jets.
Let's talk about the Jets, aka Brandon Marshall and Matt Forte. So So yeah, let's not talk about Fitzpatrick because I don't have him ranked.
Fitzpatrick is shit. Let's move on.
Okay, for this week for the running game, I have Matt Forte. He is a running back 2 for me.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I have.
All the way up number 2.
I have him ranked at 15.
Oh, okay. I thought that you were ranking him at number 2. I was like, whoa.
Oh no! Wow, Jesus, no. No, okay. I have him ranked as my number 16 running back this week. He does have a pretty good matchup, but he just hasn't. He's been split. He's been losing a lot of work to Bilal Powell lately.
Is there any other reasons why you have him ranked as low as you do?
He hasn't been getting utilized at the start of the season with that monster workload. I think that's another reason.
Because he did not do very well his last game. He only had 13 carries for 27 yards, so that's not good. But the 4 games before that, he had 30 carries for 100 yards, 25 carries for 82 yards, 12 carries for 92 yards, 20 carries for 98 yards, all while getting 4 touchdowns within the process. I will say he was not being utilized as much in the passing game.
No.
But he's been getting a lot of carries the past 4 games before he played last week against Miami? Or I'm sorry, LA.
Yeah.
New England.
Yeah, he's just been sort of quiet, on that end.
But I'm saying before the game against New England, he was getting a lot of touches. Like he was getting, like I said, 30, 25. He did have 12 and then 20. So he's been getting the touches. The question is, what kind of workload is he gonna? What kind of workload do you feel like he's gonna get against Indianapolis? I feel like if they get a lead against them, they might be able to run the ball against them.
Yeah, that could definitely be the case. Yeah, if they get a lead, they're going to lean on Forte to run out the clock. So definitely, I can honestly see both running backs, him and Frank Gore, both getting used depending on the situation at hand.
See, I see something like this happening. Him getting like 18 carries, like 80 yards and a touchdown. But I could still see Powell getting the workload too.
Yeah, if Powell has proven in weeks past that he will be not so much workload dependent. He won't need the workman's stuff. He can just get it done in the passing game.
All right, let's move on to the New York Jets wide receivers. How do you feel about Brandon Marshall? Where do you have him ranked? I want to know.
You want to know ask all tell all. I have him ranked at number 13. I think that I have just outside of wide receiver 1 because he has been moving up in my book, and he had a great week last week. But I got to see more. That was the first real week where he was like, "Wow, Brandon Marshall's back, baby." Got to see a little more.
I have to disagree with you a little bit. I mean, for the past month, he's been a no, right? He hasn't been doing shit.
Yeah, this is a great matchup for him, no doubt.
But last week, he had 6 catches, 67 yards, a touchdown. This week, he goes against Indianapolis. Indianapolis is giving up 91.8 yards a game against wide receiver 1s, almost 10 targets a game. I feel like he's going to get a lot of work in this game. I know Vernon Davis tends to be their number 1, but I don't think he's as good as people think he is. Because you're looking at wide receiver 1 numbers, and it's pretty close to 100 yards a game. So I feel like he can have a pretty decent game this week.
I feel like he can too. I definitely feel like he can. No doubt. He has too good of a matchup not to. I need to see a little more because there's been times this season where I was like, Brandon Marshall, man, he's really gonna have a nice game this week, and then he puts up just a stat line like four catches for 60 yards and no touchdown.
I know. That's been the trend lately, but maybe last week gives him a little bit more confidence.
Who knows? And I hope it does.
Yeah, because another guy that wasn't really doing a whole lot that came out of nowhere was Quincy Enunwa. I mean, going before last week, he only had 2 catches for 32 yards, and he came out of nowhere and had 5 catches for 109 yards with a touchdown.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say he's really flex viable this week unless you're desperate.
I have him ranked outside of my top 40.
Yeah, I didn't even rank him because I didn't even do past top 24. So, I safe to say I would not feel comfortable with him on my flex.
Obviously, there's no tight end to speak of for the New York Jets. We can go on to the next team, right?
That's it. That's the last one.
Wait, who are the Jets playing against again?
The Colts.
Okay, we already covered them then. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
There we go.
I'm not promising you guys another episode this week, but I am looking into a DFS show with the Daily Fantasy Ace. They are a new affiliate of the Fifth Down. He kind of deflected the question away from me, so it tends to make me believe that maybe it's a no. But I'm still going to look into having a DFS show for the Fifth Down. Like we said, we're going to be continuing to do our waiver wire shows on Monday, our ranking shows on Wednesday. And, I think it'll be pretty good. It'll cover most of what we want to cover.
Yeah, I think we did a great job today, and I think this is great. If you guys like us, if you hate us, whatever, rate and review us on iTunes. Please do it, or Spreaker, or wherever the hell you want to rate and write us. Or just, bash us on Twitter or say good things about us.
Well, we've been getting some pretty good word on Twitter. Like, most of the people that talk to us on Twitter, they like our advice.
All right, well then,
but
we're doing a good job.
If you like us, please, review us on Twitter. If you don't like us, still review us on Twitter. If you think we're awesome, let us know. If you think we suck the biggest dick in the world, let us know. We do have a new writer that we added to our staff. He's still a freelancer. He's not with us exclusively. But Michael Bugger, he's been doing some weekly matchups, some Vegas spreads. There's a lot of stuff that we could like to cover on our matchups and ranking show. He does a lot of the same shit, but it's something that you can read instead of listen to, so it's a lot faster. You might like that a little bit more. But that's something that we're going to include on our website. We're still looking to acquire some more writers. If you have any questions for us, please ask us on Twitter on the Fifth Down FF. That's how you can find us, the Fifth Down FF. Also, go on our website, www.the/fifth/down.com. I'm sorry that the domain is so fucked up. We are going to try and change it. I can't guarantee you that. Also, you can look us up on iTunes at the Fifth Down Fantasy Football. If you type that in exactly, you will find us. We'll be the fucking red flaming football that pops up on iTunes. We have all of our episodes on there. Our popularity bar is at the max. We are always at the max. We are popular. You can also find us on Spreaker. You can find us on Blog Talk Radio. You can find us on Podcast Addict. If you just search the Fifth Down Fantasy Football, we pop up instantly. So that is good. We will, like I said, we'll try to return on Friday for a DFS show. Are you down for that, K-Mill?
I hope so. I will have to let you know.
Either way, if he is not down for it, I am down for it. The Fantasy Ace is down for it. Please tune in for that one if you're into making some extra money. That'll pretty much do it for today's show. Please, like I said, check us out on iTunes. That'll pretty much do it. Please take it easy, Fifth Downers. Hope hopefully our information is giving you the information that you need to win your leagues. We are into giving you that extra down advantage that you need. Please let us know if there's anything we can do to improve. Peace out, Fifth Downers.
Peace out.
Alright, man. That'll pretty much do it. Thank you for tuning in.
No problem. You got quite a handful of editing that one. I gotta eat, so I'll talk to you later, man.
Alright, peace out, man.
All right, dude.